Scoffy, how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling pretty good. It was a bit of process getting here, but we're here.
Took took a bit of time, a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are here. And also shout out to Jordan for spectating this game for us today. We got Pack Punch Thor Division versus Feeding Frenzy. Should be an interesting one. I'm not 100% sure the seeding implications in this one, but this will at least be a good showing of where they're standing on this list. But right away, we're already into the picks and bans as we have a T-Mat and Odin. Very standard, very simple, no surprises there. Those gods OP, don't want to deal with them. I get it. Persephone, same boat. I expect to see a lot of mid bans here. Mids are just, they're pretty potent right now. They're feeling pretty good. And Osiris on the other side, great flex pick for both solo and jungle. Definitely understand the ban there.
Yeah. It looks like they're trying to play for that the Morgan Le Fay here by banning the Artemis. Yeah, and there's the Morgan Le Fay ban. I'd like to see Gilgamesh. I think Gilgamesh is a really strong jungle right now, and I think he's going to be picked and played a lot with like you said, how many mids there are right now to just ban because there's so many good ones.
Absolutely.
Gilgamesh.
And as you said, the Gilgamesh is locked in here. I wonder how much priority Feeding Frenzy puts on the emoji pick. I personally feel like the god is super potent right now, but it's kind of a god that your support needs to be comfortable on, and so there you can't really pick it up. But Raijin and Cerberus, those are also very high-end picks right now. Raijin coming up towards the forefront of mids. Those four, the ones in the bans and the Raijin just got picked up, are kind of just like the pinnacle four. Those are pretty much picked or banned in every single game that there is. Big riser. Cerberus, great flex pick. If you put it in support, that is a high pressure support that'll give you a lot of laning phase and good mid v3, or you can throw it in solo and he kind of just doesn't die in solo and get you right to the late game so you can get a big Stygian Torment late game.
I
Hopefully in each
actually
fight.
really like this Ardio pickup for that same reason. It kind of takes some of that flexibility away from the Serb because that's pretty much almost guaranteed to be an Ardio solo. I think Ardio solo is much better than Ardio support. And Serb, I mean, he has the jump, so it does kind of, disrupt it with the cripple. I don't think it's the worst laning phase for Serb because you're not really using your jump that much, but it kind of makes them double think that. And with the Terra as well, I can almost guarantee you that's an
So
Ardio solo.
already on the side of Pack Punch, we have three big tanky frontliners. I mean, that's just the meta right now. That's what you're going to be seeing. Terra, Ardio, Gilgamesh. Terra, Gilgamesh, very good combo with each other. When Terra procs her ult, when Gilga throws that Winds of Shamash into the team fight, procs that Terra ult really well. So they're just big tanky boys that are going to try to run it down. But backline are really potent right now, so not getting any backline in the top three could be interesting. But you see an Ares, I do like the Ares.
I do. I
Ares landing chains on top of Terra. She can't dash. She doesn't feel nearly as good. It's a lot of pressure, especially because, as you said, it's likely a RDO solo. So Terra does have a little bit of problems up until she gets level 3. Her clear isn't all that fantastic until she's able to get her 3, her 2, and her 1 all up. So it
I
should be
was
interesting.
I was gonna say I would like to. I really like what Paca Punch did there with their draft because they went super tanky early, right? And like, what's one of the first things you think when you see three tanks? Oh, I'm just gonna lock in Nemesis. Well, Nemesis can't really do what Nemesis wants to do with an Ardio there. However, another really good idea is Ares because all three of these people have dashes. Ares just kind of goes, "Hey, you can't dash. Sucks to suck."
Absolutely. And I'm kind of interested to see where they shift these bans. If you're on the side of Feeding Frenzy, I mean, obviously you're looking to get more backline off the table. What backline they opt for will be interesting. They actually go for the Merlin. Kind of interesting. I'm not sure if that is a target or if they're just not liking how that feels into their comp. I would also expect, unless they're going for it themselves in Feeding Frenzy, maybe a Rama ban coming out, because that god is very potent, especially on with how tanky and divey Paca Punch's team is right now. Rama helps with that a lot. He's able to go into the air at the start of those team fights and just shoot on the backline and essentially become another dive tool from a very safe distance. On the other side, we see the Erlang ban. very understandable. Another big tanky jungle that you just don't want to go around way too much CC. Does good with the current meta jungle builds. Not
I'd like
surprised
to
with that at all.
see Feeding Frenzy focus out another really strong mid laner right now.
Hmm.
So it looks like it's going to be a last Morgan ban for Feeding Frenzy. We're having some technical difficulties with that, but it does look like Morgan and Fenrir are the last two bans apiece. And
Roma.
as you said earlier, I like the Rama. Tanky boys. Chins is good. Rama does good. Has good survivability.
Baba Yaga.
He does great with the current hunter build, of just stacking on as many builds as
Apollo.
possible, as you said, getting that kin size on the well. Baba Yaga and Apollo, pretty interesting. Apollo, it actually kind of fell off the wagon for a little bit, but it has seen a resurgence, more specifically in the SPL as of late during these playoffs. Great rotation potential with that ultimate, good team fight impact if he's able to find a good landing. Baba Yaga is just a menace to dive. That god feels awful to try to get on and kill. She will go into the house, she will knock you up, she'll do an obnoxious amount of damage. With her passive giving her the stacks like that, she will likely go Warlocks, giving her that extra health. She's just a menace to dive. And late game, her scaling is insane, and she will do a lot of damage. And they're hovering Vamana on the other
Vomit.
end, and they're gonna go ahead and lock it in. That is an interesting pick to say the least. Everybody knows the weakness of Vom. You upgraded Curse on him, and now he just takes more damage by existing inside of the ultimate. But Vamana is very pub stompy in my mind. If a Vamana can get a significant lead, and even with a Curse Donk, if he's just so big and he's so tanky and so in your face, it can be really hard to deal with him if you don't have the DPS to take him down.
That's a Vamana jungle,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is very interesting.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. My man's taking a page out of Sam for Soccer's book, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it, right? Because right now, the jungle meta is to choose a warrior, stack up an absolute ton of defense, and just become solo lane number 2, and just try to dive. Amana definitely can do that. As clear as, I mean, just straight up kind of bad. I don't think you're ever really out-clearing anybody with Amana. The ganks are kind of interesting early. As soon as you hit level 5, your ganks will be pretty good because you'll just go into that transformation and, you know, big baby go stomp. But before then, you're really banking on the slow from that 3 to try to lock anybody down. So I'm interested to see how pressure goes into this game because Amana not an easy god to execute on in the jungle early.
No, and especially with an Artio on the other side, I could think of like three different warriors that would have been better in the jungle, or even Bruise style characters you could have played in the jungle. So this Vamana is gonna have a rough time, I feel like, especially against that Artio come late game.
In his credit, Vamana, good when he goes into the ult. That'll give him an instant way to get out of Winds of Shamash. That should be no real deal with him. He can't get CC'd into it. The slow won't bother him. On top of that, when you go into the big baby form, it is actually pretty easy to stay onto Baba Yaga, which a lot of junglers currently struggle with, is trying to stick on top of that god. But yeah, the early game's gonna be walking on needles, essentially, because it's not easy to operate an early game with a god like Vamana in the jungle. But we'll see how it ends up translating into the game, because that definitely is a big question mark in my mind. That's the number one, like, we're gonna have to see how that one plays out, because it has the potential to frag. As I said, Vamana from ahead, he's pretty pub stompy. He gets in your face and he's hard to deal with, but he's got to get ahead, and that's not necessarily the easiest with that god.
That is very true. I think he has a better spot in the jungle for the reason that you said. His farm is a little bit safer. He doesn't have to worry about ganks as much. He can get ahead a little easier if he plays it correctly, and I fully agree. I ran into a very unfortunate last night Vomina crit in solo, And let me tell you how not fun Big Baby Stomp Go Burr was.
you know, mad respect if he busts out the crit mana. I will have nothing but purest respect for the crit mana if that does end up getting busted out. But what I'm mostly interested to see is how this Apollo is going to utilize his ultimate, because normally when you have an Apollo, there's two different types of Apollo players in my mind. There's the one that sits in lane all game, and then he uses ult as a split push tool. Just, run down the towers. If anybody shows up, great, I ult out, and then we go do an objective because somebody went over to stop me. And then there's the person that Leroy Jenkins all in, dives into every single team fight head on, gets in there, acts like he's a frontliner despite having no defense whatsoever. So I'm interested to see what type of play style this Apollo is going to adopt into this game.
I definitely actually agree, and I feel like the Paca Punch draft revolves around this Apollo. I found it weird, and this is something I've said for a while. When the bows came into the meta, Apollo kind of fell off, which is interesting to me because I feel like he would do really good with that. And I actually think I saw it at one point. I don't remember where I saw it, but somebody built mannequins, and I think Hidden Blade with Apollo out late game could actually be very effective in just outright blowing up one specific target. And I think a lot of this draft revolves on the Apollo and how well he can do kind of spreading Feeding Frenzy out with his ultimate, saying, hey guys, I'm going to push down X lane. I have my ult. You guys take that fight. When I drag whoever comes over to stop my split push, I can just ult over and we win.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm on Paca Punch's side, I'm just looking to dive in hard because all of these gods dive great. Because Baba Yaga, also similar to Apollo, with her ult, she can almost become a frontline diver. She can get in there, dash in, or just find a way in there in general, and then go into her big house, and she can cause a lot of chaos in there. You have a Terra, you have a Gilgamesh, you got an Ardio, you gotta get in there. And if they get in there with their backline helping them with this Apollo ult, with this Baba ult, this could be disastrous. That's really hard to deal with, but Feeding Frenzy does have some tools to deal with it. Ares and Cerberus already is a disastrous combo. They're not going to have beads, ever, during these team fights. So if they can chain that together well, have one person get an ult in, make sure to force out all those beads, and then the other person swoop in and get a big ultimate, Raijin dumps so much damage into that. Rama as well can be kind of safe if they're hard diving. He can go into the air for a little bit, give time for his team to run around and peel him. So it should be interesting to see how this goes, but I think almost solely because I'm not sure how I feel about the mana, I'm going to side with Paca Punch's draft on this one, just because it seems like it has a bit more cohesion in what it wants to do. All of those, all those gods want to get to late game, and they want to dive. They want to run it down.
I think that the execution from the Paca Punch draft is much easier. I think a lot of this Feeding Frenzy draft relies on the three tanks. The Vamana and Cerberus need to do a really good job of diving this Apollo and Yaga to make sure that they're out of this team fight. And this Ares has a really good chance to shut down most of the dive potential of Paca Punch if they play it correctly. As we get into game here, I'm going to put my money on the Vama jungle popping off and taking game one.
You know what? A bold statement. If he rushes, or not rushes necessarily, but if he builds crit, I'm all there with you. I'm 100% with you. I want the good old crit Vamana to see success, but that is if he builds crit. But right away, actually, he's going to go for a hammer, and that leads me to lean most likely it's going to be Blackthorn as nothing else. I mean, I guess Frostbound does work on Vamana, but it's definitely not a good rush item, so he is going to go for this tanky, more hybrid-y style. Makes a lot of sense. Everywhere else, the builds look standard, nothing far out of the ordinary here. I think this dual lane is going to be interesting. With the Ares pick, I would imagine Feeding Frenzy gets pressure inside of that dual lane. Terra not going to be able to help out a ton. Apollo as well needs good clear from his support and able to get aggressive. Otherwise, because the number one thing with Apollo that you want to be able to do if you're getting aggressive is be able to dash through waves, stack up your passive, and get there. But this is about what I figure is going to happen. Rama's just going to clear, and run at them, and there's not a ton they're going to be able to do with that. Well, this mid 2v2 is also definitely interesting me. I should imagine that a Gilgamesh just enables them free pressure. But we're going to see a dash in from the Rama. Astro Raiders are going to go for both of them. 1 HP on Rotako. He is going to fall. Great aggression shown on the side. And that was just a really good utilization of Rama 1. He dashes in, he gets in front of them, and every single Astro arrow he shot hit both of them at the exact same time. There is no body blocking that for Terra. All the damage just dumped straight on Rotako. No way he's gonna. And over here in mid, we see a little bit of aggression on Vamana. He's actually going to get blown up a little bit, but Vamana is Vamana, so he's just going to one his way out of there, and he's going to feel fine.
That Flourish Blood went on probably the worst target for Paca Punch they could have gotten it on. Ares ahead is probably the most scariest god in the game, in my personal opinion. That man with chains and searing flesh can 100 to 0 just about anybody he so chooses to.
Absolutely. If he hits triple chain, you're not feeling good, and as you're speaking about chains, means he's going to get poked out. There's a likelihood story, but we do see Gilgamesh looking for the rotation in there. That is actually really good damage on top of Big Green Leaf here. He is kicked in. Rama is in a lot of trouble. He's going to get the dash off, but Gilgamesh Leaf is going to secure that one. Ares going to try to run away here, but the pathing might not let him get away as Rotako's going to come in from the flank. He's going to get rid of from the Terra. Baba Yaga going to rotate in, put in some damage, and that's going to be the end of them. A good gank on the side of Gilgamesh.
What's important there is Rotako got a kill and an assist as well, so he pretty much tied up that assist from the Rama early.
Absolutely, and actually, I believe SonicRefuGee is rushing straight for the Frostbound, so he's going to try to eliminate the early pressure that, I guess, or more so the lack of early pressure that Vamana brings by slowing people. So that should be interesting to see how that does. But Caribou going to get a little bit pressured on his blue buff, but it's a good thing that he's RDO, because he doesn't care at all. And it's not going to do much to him. He's just going to wait until he gets back up, and he'll be completely fine. I'm interested to see how that turns out. I'm not so sure about that one.
I think Blackthorn would have been better if he didn't go stone cutting, because he runs out of mana very quickly. So yeah, I feel like this is a very interesting decision. I'd like to see what he builds after the Frostbound to kind of help with the Frostbound procs.
Yeah, it definitely would be interesting. I don't know. It'll be hard to utilize it early, for sure. But I mean, we'll see how it is. It's all an execution thing, right? Like, you can go with these wonky builds and these things you don't normally see as long as you are operating on it correctly. But a little bit of a slapfest over here. But Legion's looking for another gank over on this side. He is level 5, so is the Rama. They are going to back up, but he is already here. He's looking to kick a little bit off the mark, but the Shamash is going to come out. Support in a little bit of danger, but he's just going to walk out of there. A good job from that dual lane, backing up in time, able to get out without really forcing anything out. A little bit unfortunate on the side of Paca Punch, but actually he is going to get caught out over here, but a great Terra 2 is going to stop all that aggression. Raiden Alt comes in, but not close enough, so that is going to be for naught. And a lot of aggression on the left side, but nobody falls on both sides here. But it is a bit unfortunate Legion's unable to pick up the kill on the Rama, knowing that he's down.
It's a very interesting ult by GG. I feel like if he'd have just saved his ult and ulted there, they probably could have killed the Baba.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just saw the low HP, but actually Apollo going to go up into the air, right back down again. Terra Alt going to assist as the Terra Alt proc is going to go down. Memester is going to get that kill with that Terra Alt, but he is in danger now. He has a Rama. Rama's going to leap in and just do these autos, but his autos aren't hurting very bad, and he does not have a lot of mana, so he's just going to call this one off and be good. But Legion's coming in from the side right here. This Rama has no mana, doesn't know that he's here, going to get kicked into the wall. He's forced, but he's going to get jumped on top of it, and that should just be a kill for Legion's.
Legion's is pushing a lot of pressure on this left side of the map.
Already, Legion's, that's his third gank in duo in 5 minutes. I can't imagine feeding Frenzies feeling very happy about that one, as he just shows so much presence over on this left side.
I
But
think Legions had the same thought I did. Terra didn't buy beads for some reason, and I was gonna make the comment that I'd really like to see Feeding Frenzy punish this Terra early. And then Legion just went, no, I'm just gonna hold Terra's hand for the next 6 minutes. So
yeah, and on top of that, Apollo is a great tool to have from ahead, because when he gets ahead, if he gets these multiple levels, then he's able to impact the map so much more with that global ult potential, because the number one thing that Apollo suffers from is if he falls behind, well, his ult's pretty much a non-factor at that point, because he's never using it to get aggressive. ADC from behind is not going to impact by rotating, but good rotations are now open up from the map, as we see a little bit of presence in the mid 3v3. They're going to full commit onto that, and Big Green Leaf is going to get instantly bursted. A great job by the Terra locking him in there. Baba Yaga is going to dump all that damage on top of him. The Big Baby, not able to do much, is just going to have to walk away from this one. Raijin also forced out mostly as a defensive tool to try to get his jungler away. And just positive. Paca Punch really doing well so far in the beginning of this. I really like this aggression from Memester. He is just getting in there. He is constantly throwing out these Terra 2s and these Terra 3s and just making sure to get pressure wherever he goes.
I'd like to see Legion reset, because he's put so much pressure on the left side of this map. I'd like the early gold score call. You know, you have two Guardians who are just kind of tickling each other with pillows over there on the right side of the map, so you don't really need to worry about it. But you have the lead, and as I say that, Ares is going to ult, yeah.
But the Bees is forced out, not much more is going to come from that, but obviously Beats being down on Babo means that is open up for a jungle game, especially because he has finished his Frostbound. It looks like he's going to go into his Stone Cutting next. With no Beats, he won't be able to get out of Frostbound if he goes into ult, so that should be an interesting tool there for him, but more aggression in mid. As you see, Beeps are getting right back in there, but SonicRefuGee is here. Nobody's able to follow up with Memester. A little bit of disconnect on the team right there, as Memester full committed and went in and just nobody was nearby. I'm not sure if the call was to go off or what happened there, but it didn't necessarily go straight. They're just going to try to burst with him on through his ult anyway, but he is a big CCU baby, so they're not actually going to be able to do much to him. He's just going to walk right out of there. Ares coming over to peel, but not much is going to come from him. But despite Memester falling down, they're not taking it too bad. They're just going to get this gold score and rotate across the map, but an interesting play. Once again, I do like the aggression. I especially feel like Onagat view Terra. Oh, but before I can even finish my thought, there's going to be a ton of aggression on the break here, but he doesn't even care. He's walking at him with Lava House, and he's just pop his Gilgamesh ultimate, and this area is caught up in a bad spot, and he's going to fall right then, right there.
Exactly what you were talking about early.
A lot of wins of Shamash value coming out here.
Yeah, I really like the way Legions has played this Gilgamesh so far early. He did a really good job pushing the Apollo. I mean, he's even with the Rama, but they've created a lot of space on that left side of the map. Rags is still actually down about a level in mid, but that mid 3v3 is just popping right now with the Baba damage on top of the wings of Smosh.
Absolutely, that's a really good mid for them. And every year we see the classic solo meta of two Guardians slapping each other and then looking at each other for a little bit and realizing, wait, we're two Guardians, we can't kill each other. So, a little bit unfortunate for my, for my solo mains out there, having to choose Guardians every game. I feel you, man. I don't like building defense either. It's tough.
I thoroughly enjoy it. Athena's one of my favorite solos to play.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on that one, but they're actually looking over at the gold here. They are going to start it up. Big Green Leaf has spotted this out. ggDsn is in any way able to help with it. Ares ult is going to force in Memester. He is pretty low. Winds of Shamash going to be not actually dropped. That is just the Gilgamesh 3, but Gilgamesh going to show a little bit of aggression. Immediately, ggDsn forced out his entire health bar not sure get in there. There's the one out there on top of that bubble. Rama's coming in. but unable to secure that with the Rama all Paca Punch, going to pick up the Gold Fury. Big Green is going to fall, but on the back end here, SonicRefuGee looking for some value out of his ultimate. He's just running down the Memester, but Terra's gonna do Terra things, double dashes right out of that, and just a really good play by Paca Punch. Utilizing their pressure, utilizing their aggression, starting at that objective, realizing that not enough members of Feeding Frenzy were able to go in there and contest.
The team fight was really unfortunate for Feeding Frenzy because you did a lot of damage to Memester, which is great, but unfortunately they did a lot of damage to GG, which was probably your best secure. However, Rama did a really good job of almost securing the Gold Fury, and I think that's something Paca Punch needs to understand and change in the future. As I say that,
Legion's going to go over here and gank in the solo lane. They are going to do this tower dive and pick. Ooh, but Zilla's going to find the return kill on the Caribou, which is positive for Ziilla because he got a kill while he was getting ganked. So, not so bad for him, but a little interesting thing there. You can finally see something happen over in the solo lane with a little bit of jungle presence there. But as you said, that team fighting gold definitely an interesting one. But when you have that poke out battle, the mid in those fights is a little bit more valuable than the support is going to be. They definitely did kind of coin flip that with the Rama ult there. It is a little bit risky to do that. Normally you would want to drop it, but all's well that ends well as Paca Punch doesn't get that stolen away from them. But we'll see how that plays out later, as Rags is actually getting bursted here in mid. Most of his health bar taken away, but he has fallen back. He is fine, but it looks like both Ares and Raijin used both of their ultimates in an attempt to get Rags there, and he is just gonna, he just ulted his way out, used his beads, and called it good.
He's already got that Warlocks fully stacked and working on the Chiron's coin at the moment. It was the stone cutting out of Sonic. As I say that, Sonic seems to be
jungle presence over here in the dual lane. Rotako getting absolutely bursted down. He is not going to be able to go into that ultimate. A good kill, making sure to get that Rama ahead. Definitely something you're looking for there. Rotako wasn't able to spot him out in time, so the jank is going to be successful, which is really the first signs of life for this Vamana here, but they're actually going to ult it on that Winter Shamash on top of the Terra ult. As I was talking in Big's Van, that is a potent combo. It doesn't matter that he does not have enough time to heal, he is just going to get blown up. And Legion's here, 5-0-2 on this Gilgamesh, making his impact felt all across this map right now. Him and Memester are just running around, showing up everywhere. He's going to get another kick into the wall. Big Green leads him in danger here, rooted, all that damage coming out, and it is going to end up falling in the end there. GG not able to get a lot out of that Raijin ultimate. And this is just constant pressure from this jungle pick right here. Legion doing a great job making sure that absolutely everywhere he goes, he is felt, and he is not stopping here as he goes right over from left to mid to solo, and he's gonna, ooh,
it's a good blink by Ziilla.
I thought he was gonna get a kill on every single lane, but at least he's gonna force out a relic, and Ziilla is gonna get away with 1 HP, but they're looking aggressive on these back camps. There is 4 people here. Ziilla is back. They know that he's gone. SonicRefuGee is just gonna get put in the dirt. And that's a rough sign, but actually Caribou does not care. He's going right inside of there. He's gonna get real aggressive. ggDsn low. Lava ult is popped. GG is going to fall because of that. Caribou's still alive here. They're in between the towers. Cerberus ult is unfortunately not gonna find anything. And Paca Punch could probably just walk away from this.
Legion just walked from left to right and started going back right to left on half HP with like 20
but
mana and
progression on Baba Yaga. The Rama snipes are good. The Terra ult unfortunately not able to do much, but actually they don't care. They're going right back in there with the Apollo ult. Big Green Leaf a little bit poked out here, but they are going to back up. A nice little sign of aggression. This is slowly becoming an arena game as they're just fighting and fighting and fighting. And as you said, my man Legion's the Globetrotter from left to right, back to mid, before finally head back to base. But they're just going to dive this tower. They do not care. But Big Green Leaf is actually going to live. Ooh, the tower
Memester's
falls
on
before
2
Meemster is able to live. Rotako gonna pick up Big Green Leaf. 1 HP in the back is Cvgnito. He is going to fall.
I
What a
don't know.
fight.
All right, so honestly, I don't think that was worth it for Paca Punch because now gold's up. They're gonna get gold.
They traded solo and ADC for ADC and support, but on that note, the ADC did die. They don't really have the shred to do gold, but it is not worth the fact that you are trading over 2 while you are ahead, which is positive for the team.
Zilla's gonna die.
Zilla is getting Gilgamesh out of, let me tell you, he is going whack, whack, whack.
You know what I hate
gonna be
as
able
a
to walk
solo
away.
laner? Zilla has a 2-level lead on this man, and Legion just does not care.
Legion just shows up with a couple of whacks and
He said
And
bonk
he's gonna
bonk,
run
and
away.
Zilla said, okay, I'm done.
But on that note, with Legions, Shoguns is picked up due to the triple magical on Feeding Frenzy, and that's why he's sitting there bonking quite so hard. The Gold Fury is going to be picked up here. Big Green Leaf showing a little bit of presence here. He is going to get as long as Meemster, the ult is going to come out. Baba ult as well, and Raiden ult. Ult flying out everywhere. Damage getting dumped on both ends. Big Green Leaf is going to take the brunt of it as most of his health bar is gone, but both of them are just backing up now.
I like the thought process by Leaf here. He's 1-7. He's only a level down, as I'd say that GG's getting aggressed on. He's just gonna dash away. Rama needs to roll out to his T2 because I don't think he realizes that Legion is around the corner.
But good juke by SonicRefuGee onto the Gilgamesh, but he doesn't seem to carry. He's going to go on the big baby farm. They are going to try to burst him through, but the great damage in the back from ggDsn and Cvgnito. All 3 of them are
And
going
he's gonna
to
get
fall
out
down,
on 1 HP.
and Baba Yaga is going to fall. A bit of over-aggression on the side of Paca Punch. They got a little bit tunnel vision. They saw the mana pushed up a little bit there, so they tried to go in and get that, but
That's
and Cvgnito didn't leave, and they were just allowed to free cast on their backs. They tunnel visioned a bit too hard onto that jungler, and they paid the price for it as 4 are going to fall, and Gold Fury is going to go on the side of Feeding Frenzy, and that's exactly what they needed, because now Feeding Frenzy is ahead.
See, that's the thing with this Vomina jungle pick. Gilgamesh all are down. They can't really do much to him now that he's past that. He's past that level 10. He's level 15. He's opted for thorns instead of beads, which is very interesting. But he's a bit more tankier. He's got that stone cutting now. As long as he plays around those 2 ultimates very well, I actually think this Vomina can do a lot of work to this Gilgamesh.
Absolutely, he has fully taken on the mantle of just being solo number 2. They are going to take out the Gold Fury, or the Fire Giant score. Not much is going to come from that, but you see the Spectral Armor picked up. That is just a standard response to the good old crit coming out from Rotako. And he's hard to kill, for sure, and he's not really worried about. The only things he really has to worry about is either Artio getting on top of him, Terra or Gilgamesh, I suppose, but his response to that is always just going to be the same thing. Thorns can click ult.
I'm just concerned with that. We've seen it happen a couple times now where he clicks 4 and Terra clicks 4 and then Vomina's just gone. I feel like beads would have been better than his thorns because he can beads the initial CC, because that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to dive him to force his ult because they don't care about it. Especially now that this Terra's level 12.
Getting aggressed on ggDsn to use the CC movie from Raiden home to make sure he doesn't get kicked into the wall, but Legion alone here. If it would bring people on top of him, this would be a great thing to find the and now they're taking a further fight. Cerberus ult going into the back. Ares ult as well, going to force out the beam. Meemster is low here, getting pushed out. GG also low on the other side. SonicRefuGee being big baby stomping in. ggDsn going to kill Caribou. Into the air goes the Rama. The snipes raining down on the Meemster. They're actually going to find their mark, but Meemster just a little bit too tanky, a little bit too shielding to fall down there. But a good fight from Feeding Frenzy. That is 2 picks, and they're going to look over at this Pyromancer.
Yeah,
Health
Ziilla
a little bit too low to look for this Fire Giant, but a good consolation prize for them. That is a lot of pressure. They can probably even look to pressure out this mid. They're just going to fall back, get their backs off, take their W. Absolutely fine.
So I'd like to triple down on my statement earlier. I think Feeding Frenzy is going to win this game because the Terra she opted to not pick up the Cursed Ankh. Instead, she picked up a Frenzy and Sunder.
Yeah. I was actually going to bring up the point earlier that Vamana was already kind of getting blasted and all, and as soon as that Ankh comes online, he's especially going to get it, but that's not a thing anymore. That's not going to happen. So, with that off the table, this Vamana might just be free farm and eating grass because he's got Stone Cutting, he's got Toxic, he's got plenty of movement speed, he slows them with Frostbound, he's got the Spectral to stay alive. He's not super tanky, but with his ult, he can live, and he's fast, and they can't get away from him. Without Ankh, they have no real way of bursting him down when he goes into that, so when he forms his like ult, he's kind of a raid boss. But they're going to put a little bit of damage down there, mostly just to get away. They're showing a little bit of grouping over by this FG. Caribou going to be poking out a little bit here, but this is mostly just Feeding Frenzy, getting these wards up, looking to get good positioning while they wait for Cvgnito to head over there. That's a grouping over here. Legion's actually going to leap in, but that is the entire team right there. They actually respond to of aggression, but Legion's going to go right in to win the Shamash, and actually SonicRefuGee falls, not quite tanky enough to stop that. Baba Yaga dumping tons of damage onto the Cerberus. He is low, and he is gonna leap out and actually find, and Mimser is gonna fall from ggDsn in the back. Raijin in the initial fight wasn't able to find much, but now Brotaco going to pick up Cvgnito, live at 1 HP. Ziilla actually goes for a really interesting play when it turns out fine and ends up getting that. Regs is going to pick up a kill. Legions is going to pick up that 1 HP Cerberus that was lingering around. And Paca Punch are going to win the fight. And I feel like a lot of what went wrong in that fight, not to harp on anyone, but Raijin found nothing. And that's a big ultimate, especially when you got the Soul Reaver online. Raijin hits, and the fact they didn't have that damage was a little bit rough. On top of that, SonicRefuGee instantly bursted down. Legions went with a pretty aggressive leap, and I think Feeding Frenzy just wasn't sure how many people were following Legions, because they ended up the Raijin dashed out, and they played a little bit defensive there. And by the time they decided to turn and burn on Legions, the rest of the team was able to group up around them. Sonic just instantly died.
Right before that display of Arena happened, I was gonna say that was a really good fight for Feeding Frenzy. They popped Terra's bubble, or not Terra, yeah, they popped Terra's bubble early. So Terra didn't have bubble, she doesn't have beads, and Sonic actually had a 2-level lead on Legions at one point. He was level 15 when that fight started. But the problem is Legion jumped in, GG jumped out, and Sonic decided to go in still as
from this area is going to pull in Caribou. He is a level 19 support. He could not care less. Not only was going to have a gold here going to the side of Paca Punch, utilizing the pressure that they won from winning that fight.
That is the one thing with Brotaco's build, is he's going to do a lot of damage to that Gold Fury if you let him.
Getting a little bit aggressive here. A big fight happening in mid. Memes are actually going to go off there. Signs of aggression were shown, but both teams kind of having a stare down right here. A little bit of a poke off. Legions might look to get aggressive here on the side when the Shamash is available, but a little bit of a staring contest going on as neither team really feels too comfortable in initiating this one, and they're just going to drag this fight over into the right jungle, and it'll become a fire dance instead of a mid lane dance.
This actually is about to be a pretty even fight. All of the beads are back up for everybody. Frenzy's up. The Cursed Ankh on Big Green Leaf is up.
These are going to take some poke here. The Ares chains are good, but he is Terra, so he can always look back to farm. But actually, he's going to get even further in there, and he's going to dash in, and a blink comes in from the Gilgamesh. He is going to have to leap out, and Paca Punch heavily poked out here. Almost everybody on their team half HP, and that is the go sign for Feeding Frenzy. Legions are going to try to turn around and move the Window Shamash, not able to find it. Two teammates are going to fall on the side of Paca Punch. Regs going to that ultimate, dumping out huge huge amounts of damage. Everybody on side of Feeding Frenzy is low now, but they are at a severe numbers disadvantage. Caribou gonna try to pick up a return kill, but this is a 1v5 and it will not go his way as he's going to fall, and that is a clean deicide from Feeding Frenzy. A straight 1v5. They'll have time to back and just do fire, and not much they're gonna be able to do about it on the side of Paca Punch. A really good fight there. I think Mimsu just got a little too lost there. He went in a little too deep, took a lot of poke. Legions tries to hard commit, instantly eats the Stygian Torment from the Cerberus, gets held there, gets poked out, and after all those health bars just got shredded, a lot of big Raijin damage came out, and just wasn't much they were going to be able to do as a go sign for Feeding Frenzy, and they're able to find the Cvgnito side and a good team fight.
That team fight was brought to you by Cursed and GG listening to the cast and actually doing Raijin things. I'd like to see them just typewriter it down. Right towers, mid towers, take that left tower back. At that point, gold will be up. Take gold back. You're gonna have a huge gold lead, and just push it down left.
Absolutely. With fire on 5 right now, they should safely be able to get almost all of those fires, as you said. Just plain clinical standard stuff. You get Fire Giant, whittle down those towers, grab the gold fury, set yourself up for the next one. And there's 2 T1s and 3 T2s that are able to get all those towers. That is an astronomical amount of global gold that they're going to get, and they're already 5k ahead. They're in a really good position here to start getting more and more of a lead and start suffocating this game out and making sure Paca Punch doesn't have much room. And they're going to start this off by grouping over on the left side, looking to whittle down that T2. And they'll slowly get there on the side of Paca Punch. They're just trying to get their farm, get ready. I don't think they'll be quite ready for this T2, so that will likely fall. Actually, they are going to make their way over. Looks like he did step into a ward, but
this is the best time for them to defend. Baba has both of her actives up. Apollo has Aegis. He has P5.
Look to stage defense here on this T2.
I like this play by Paca Punch. Just show face. You don't need to get too crazy.
Legion's actually going to go on top of SonicRefuGee over on the side there, but he is Vimana, and he is going to just click one and walk away. So the T2 going to go to the side of Feeding Frenzy. Now we see the classic rotation. They're going to rotate mid, try to whittle down these towers, but Paca Punch down but not out. They are showing face here on everything, making sure that Feeding Frenzy does not feel comfortable taking anything alone here. As you said, Regs has everything. Every single relic in the game available right now. Every single ult. This is a straight team fight as we see the Terra ult hit 5. That is a massive Ares out. Caribou going to get pulled in. Taco in the air. This is a huge collapse coming in. Legion's 1 HP. Barely going to be able to get out. But Ziilla actually able to pick that up. Rotako dives into the back and picks up a kill on the ggDsn. Caribou able to pick up SonicRefuGee, and Big Green Leaf gonna get the final hit onto... My brain is totally blanking right now. I don't know who he just killed. I'm gonna be honest. Rotako, there we go. My brain's working. I can speak. I cast. Don't worry.
Words are hard.
Words are difficult, but
that's exactly what I wanted to see. Yeah, that's as I said. That's exactly what I wanted to see out of this Apollo. He did a really good job. They all dove super hard, and I want to say he wasn't. He was close to that T2, and I don't think any of the front line realized that he straight up just ulted into that back line.
Feeding Frenzy here has full HP, while everybody on the Paca Punch is low here. Legion's gonna get a good drop kick, but Caribou is probably just gonna get shredded here. Not really able to help them up. Aviron is going to come up and slow them off. Caribou actually has a really long dash, but now Baba Yaga is the one in range. Caribou gonna blink out and be able to live there. But Legion should fall in the middle of nowhere, and this should just be it for him. He's not gonna be able to do much about that. Well, as I said, a good fight by Paca Punch in addition to 2 off FP, and normally when a team has 5k over you and they have FG, T1s are like, get rid of them, don't care about them, whatever, it's a T1. But the fact that they were able to show face on only a T1 and do an equal trade is really good. Unfortunately, a little lost in the sauce going for that Gold Fury. Legion's going to fall because of it. Feeding Frenzy able to get their backs off and return to that gold tree in time, and now that T2 should just fall as it is a 4v5. And unfortunately, by Legion's falling, that great defense that they mounted is not so great anymore, as they're able to just walk around and whittle down the towers anyway.
Yeah, that wave is really pushed up and right. Legions is still down for another 4. They're at least going to get this T1. I think Paca Punch can defend this T2 really well. All ults are back up. Both your carries' relics are coming back up. They just need to play around this cursed Ankh.
For the T2, but actually Memester is in the middle of nowhere right now. His team isn't anywhere nearby. He actually is going to get out, but he is going to get caught in with the Ares ultimate. He is chained. There is no way he can get out of there. A great pick by Feeding Frenzy. And another 4v5 and another W for Feeding Frenzy. FG spawning right now. This just opened it wide for them to just run in and take it.
I haven't bought Eye of the Jungle in a very long time. That is Protector of the Jungle, correct? He did not go Seer of the Jungle. Okay, I thought he went Seer of the Jungle for a second. I was going to make a comment about it.
Nope, Seer of the Jungle still really bad. High risk, not figuring that one out yet. But SonicRefuGee actually just getting obliterated right now, getting the solo lane treatment. Caribou is just going to find him out and destroy him, which is a fantastic response. But ggDsn going to find Rags in the backline. That big mage is dead now. Lead in the back is going to get a big window smash on the Cvgnito. Cvgnito able to roll out with very low as they're going to get further aggressed on here. Caribou can just 1 HP, but he's going to get out. Taco in the air, likely going to land on top of him, but he gets into the air in time. But the rest of Feeding Frenzy low, they actually pick up Legion's. Caribou unable to do anything. Taco's in here alone with a bunch of low health bars there. Chance for a huge play. Caribou's going to get back in there. Big Green Leaf going to fall. Memester showing aggression on the ggDsn. ggDsn going to fall.
There's no shot that Rama just got out.
That Rama lived. First of all, how did that happen? Just a great ult. Oh, Taco gonna get knocked up. A little bit of whoopsie going here. Cvgnito is actually showing face. They might not be able to pick this up. A great
Taco's really low.
So, even though in a 4v5 they took a really good fight here, Cvgnito's nearby. He might be able to steal this or even just kill Taco. They're going to use the ultimate. Cvgnito is going to dash, and now they're fighting.
Paca secured the fight.
He's going to secure it though. Cvgnito tries his best, but Terra ultimate is a little too scary. He's not able to pick that up. And this game is back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, as now Feeding Frenzy has a 6k gold lead, but Paca Punch has EFG. And these fights are about as scrappy as they can get. Just
we're getting
slugfest going on in here. This is
trades after trades. Yeah,
this is not an MMA. This is straight street fight as they just keep boxing each other.
I like this narrated edge pickup by the Vomina. I actually, low-key, really like this Vomina build. I would have preferred him to glass cannon in the sense of, like, you know, just like we talked about, crit, you blow up Taco pretty quickly, you blow up Rags pretty quickly as well. But I think Serrated is one of the best, like, hybrid items in the game, personally.
Oh yeah, and the lifesteal definitely, while they do have a lot, I think my only qualm with Serrated is they have a lot of healing over on the side of Paca Punch, so you're not getting a ton of utilization from that healing, but I mean, if you're going to be in your ult and healing anyway, you might as well just get more healing.
Double down on it, yeah.
Man just looked at it and, as you said, straight double down, just went right into it, but this is just going to be the clinical classic from Paca Punch. They have EFG, they're going to whittle down all of these towers. My question is, are they going to look for the Phoenix? With EFG, I think they kind of have to. Maybe they back after getting this T2 just to get the rest of their items, make sure they get their power spike online, but
if I'm Paca Punch here, we know that Rags isn't full build. He's sitting on that Rada Tahuti finish right now. I think you reset, because personally, I think this next team fight, as scrappy as they have been, it's going to be the game.
We're 35 minutes in the game. You know, these death timers aren't getting any prettier. I'm pretty sure most of them are exceeding the 60-second mark. And especially with EFG, you don't have to worry about minion waves. You can just straight run down a Phoenix. So it looks like Feeding Frenzy is going to attempt to fight over this Oni Fury.
Real quick before this fight starts, Glorify, if you're talking about the game, yes, this is Smite, yes, this is But a big fight is going to come out here. A big Ares ultimate is going to force out some ultimate in trade, but it's moving over here. On the Golden Fury, but Feeding Frenzy shows a little bit of faith at first, and then they go, oh wait, they have EFG, we're backing up on this one.
GG's ult's down too. I think Paca can end the game. GG's ult's down. I'd like to see them just run it down left.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so as well. I think this is a really good siege opportunity if Paca Punch is ever going to get one. Unfortunately, that Terra ultimate is down.
You still have Wings of Samash though. I'd like
Samash is up. This is a good engagement take. Ziilla going to blink the backline. So the Torment is going to find two. That's a lot of damage on top of them. Health bars are getting low. Memester is getting shredded. He is actually going to fall. But the Phoenix looking low. They are able to pick up the Phoenix. Low health bars on the back line though. Brotaco instantly blasted down. Caribou going to fall shortly here as well. Actually able to get away. But big damage going on to 308 Red. He's not going to be able to survive this one.
But the kill.
Bubble! Even after death from the afterlife, coming in and picking up the kill on Cvgnito, the most important person to take out for this counter siege. Legion's going to dump the blink so that he can get out, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the split mid by Legions there. I think
me either.
You have a solid, you have a 5-on-5 when you have 4 people with BFG. The only big team fight ult you really have is Winds of Shamash. You need that for the team fight. I understand the sentiment because Gilgamesh at this stage of the game with EFG should win the 1v1 into Vamana, but the thing is, Vamana can just do what he did there. He doesn't have to die. He just pops ult and he lives and he exists. And
I think
so. I think I would have liked to see Legions group up with the left side just to get a Winds of Shamash on that siege. On a good note for Paca Punch, left side Phoenix has fallen, which is a good setup. Fire
they
Giant
killed the ADC.
ADC is going to be, Gregs and Cvgnito are going to spawn at the exact same time, so still in Paca Punch's ball court. They did push up the wave pretty far down left, but there are still fire minions that are going to be pushing down, so eventually that wave will see itself marching left. And now it's just a straight 5v5, and I think this fight right here, if it goes serious in one side or the other, is definitely going to the side of the other.
Oh, he stole it!
He
stole it with the
absolute Chad. Banana, or whatever that's called. The good old Rang is going to find it.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen Vomita 3 on the return damage steal an objective. That MVP of the game. I don't care if Feeding Frenzy lose. Sonic MVP of the game.
But we're going to see an initiation from this Ares forcing out the beads.
He popped the bubble of the Terra there, which is important too.
Yep, he popped the Terra bubble. He got the beads off from Cvgnito, but also that's only frontline. That lost an item, one lost a relic, but a big thing just happened. Legion half HP. You do not want to see that from your jungler at the start of this fight. I think he's got a back up here. Get the healing for Memester. Ziilla not going to let them get the chance. Memester pulled it immediately. Terra ult going to come out. Big Winds of Shamash is going to try to get damage here, and he's going to live. Brotaco's so near dead that it says that he is, but he's actually not. SonicRefuGee 1 HP into the ult. He has been sundered, but he is just going to be able to walk in there. But a reinitiation from SonicRefuGee going to do some damage, but unable to find a kill. But SonicRefuGee is actually going to fall here. But on the other end of that, Caribou falls to Cvgnito. But Brotaco getting in there. He's getting in there. Bricky Lead is caught up with the Terra 2. He is going to fall. Reg's going to pick that one up, and that is a one fight by Paca Punch, and they're too low to contest here. This should be relatively free. But we are going to see a little bit of face showing from ggDsn. He doesn't want to give this one up, understandably. Memester is low. Maybe he gets dump some damage onto that, but you might just be looking for the steal. Both the backline are nearby. He's low. He's gonna put some damage over, but Paca Punch is
Oh,
gonna
he
clear it. Oh, Raijin
just late. He's gonna
not
fall.
able to do it, and he is gonna be caught out here. He's gonna try to buy some time, but I don't think there's a world where he lives. They're just gonna ignore him. Oh, Titan's 1 HP. I think they, in my opinion, they should chase down GG. I know it's going to take some time, but you definitely want someone dead. But they are using the time that they have a little bit of a power play here to 4-man run that down right. The closest Phoenix.
It's EFG. Taco just shreds this.
EFG, absolutely Taco shreds this. And Ziilla has to show face and left, so the Fire Wave just doesn't take that left Phoenix immediately. That Phoenix is going to drop down. Titan only at half HP. They're just going to rotate down this Phoenix line, make sure to grab everything. ggDsn going to try to dump out some damage, but unable to find it. They're just going to take the more safe pathing, but now they're just rotating left, going to try to get this Phoenix. This should only be about 2 autos from Rotaco to take this thing down. But
Baba has
a
actives.
contested. We're going to see the areas out come out. He is going to get pulled in. He is getting absolutely bursted, but good ult is going to hit multiple SonicRefuGee falls immediately. And ggDsn low in the backline. Cvgnito able to find Rotaco. ggDsn is going to fall in the back, and tons of Baba damage coming out. Look at how much he is doing. That big relief. Not safe here. Cvgnito going to fall from a good blink by Legion's OMG. The left side Phoenix is going to fall. Numbers advantage here with EFG. This should just be the game. And
Feeding Frenzy wins that game if GG's damage was more impactful. Leaf did such a good job of every time Memester was ulting, that Kursank was on cooldown. And they didn't have enough damage as a team to punish that. There were several fights where they were so low and they were getting these 2-2 trades. They just needed that one fight where they get that one less death or that one extra kill, and unfortunately I just think it's on the backline and Feeding Frenzy not being a very same target oriented in their damage.
Absolutely. It was an interesting last they showed some good signs over by that left Phoenix while they were pushing it up. Terra getting pushed in was good, but Terra just able, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword with Big Green Leaf. Yes, he can pull in the Terra. Yes, Terra will be able to get bursted, but you're ensuring that all 5 of your team get hit by Terra Ultimate. And that's exactly what happens. All 5 of them get hit. They use that as a go sign to go in. Regs gets a ton of damage. As chat is saying, Regs diff, as he did do. As you said, their damage numbers were pretty similar inside of the mid laners here. 44k on one, 43k on the other, but I would have to agree with you. I do think Reg's damage was more impactful. Most of the time, the people he was blasting down was just straight up dying. But Cvgnito also doing a fantastic amount of damage. He put on a clinic on that Rama.
Yeah.
Just a back and forth scrap fest of a game.
I think the thing that the Feeding Frenzy needs to change isn't like, I wasn't trying to say that GG didn't really do damage, because there were several times that he was turning team fights that they were almost losing. It was too split. There were several times, you know, I saw a lot of the same. Rags and Taco were focusing the same person. The big difference between Baba and Raijin, in my opinion, is they both have really good team fight AOE, but I think Baba's is just a little bit easier to spread. And I would have liked to seen GG, instead of kind of going on his own and pushing with their tanks, focus the person that the Rama's focusing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that goes in general with what you want to do. You definitely want to be diving whoever the Rama is landing his snipes on, or even just in general autoing down and getting them dead. As Craig mentioned though, there was a couple of times that Ares got in and he would blink, alt, and then onk. And the problem with that is you're blinking and you're alting and then you're pulling them towards your team and then you're onking, and it's not normally hitting the back line that Memester is hitting with Terra Ultimate. So most of the time Terra Ult was hitting the back line, but the onk wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing a really good job of almost blowing up this Terra immediately. You know, I feel like that's kind of it's not as impactful, right? Because if you blow up the Terra, then the sustain's gone either way. I mean, the optimal thing is you get the curse knocked on the back line, right? But worst come to worst, you blink, you alt, you pull the Terra in, you onk her, she's done, she's gone, she's in the dirt. They don't have that sustain. They have that they have the small RDO sustain at that point, and you can turn that team fight. Um, to the same side of that, I noticed a couple times Leaf would go in to try to like get beads or get bubbles, and I would see GG alt nothing. I would have liked to seen GG be a little bit more um
Probably just
not
patient to
yeah,
wait until
yeah.
someone gets pulled in first.
Yeah, because there were several times where he would blink in, where Leaf would blink in, he'd get the active he was looking for, he'd get the bubble that he's looking for, and then he would retreat, and they would hard commit, they would counter engage and hard commit, and GG's ult would be down. Where if he had had
Yeah,
his ult up for that counter initiation, they probably could have turned that team fight.
yeah, just a little bit of a miscommunication and understanding that when the enemy has bubbles and beads, a lot of times that blink alt initiation is just going to be used solely as a relic slash item burner, and sometimes just fully committing on something that was relatively just trying to wither them down and get them ready for the next team fight rather than actually initiate a full one. But overall, a good effort by both teams. I mean, Pack a Punch from the get-go show a lot of aggression. Legions just ran over that Feeding Frenzy dual lane. He was there almost on cooldown, and as we said, my man was a globetrotter at one point. Ganked left, ganked mid, ganked right, went back to mid. My man, he was everywhere. He was making his impact felt. Feeding Frenzy took a couple of good fights, got back into that game, got that initial FG, got a gold lead, and then Pack a Punch just in some relatively scrappy fights, but still ended up taking W's in the later game fights, and a lot of that, in my mind, is centered around the Terra and the Baba Yaga in particular. I think that synergy between those two worked out really, really good because Memester acted as sort of like a sacrificial lamb in a way. He knew he was gonna die most of the time, so he would just get alted by Ares, he would get pulled in, and he's like, alright boys, well, they're all alted. Best of luck to you guys. And most of those ults were really effective. They were hitting the entire enemy team, and most of his team too. He was getting 7, 8, 9, sometimes 10-man ults. And when the entire enemy team has a Terra ult on them and your entire team has one, when you have those big initiation tools like the Winds of Shamash, like the Home Sweet Home from Baba, it just does so much. That late game team comp was oppressive. It's definitely hard to deal with that when they
I
have a team that just is so centered towards that late game fight like they did.
I think if you're not worried about banning the Baba or picking the Baba or the same thing with the Terra, I think something needs to be done about this Gilgamesh. You can't just let Legion run the game for as long as he did. I mean, going back to that whole Globetrotter incident where my man was like, "I'm gonna go finish my steps on my Apple Watch in this game." Um, he was. It wasn't just him walking around. He was impacting everywhere he went. He got a kill in duo, then he went mid and they got a kill in mid. And then he rotated right and they didn't get the kill in right, but it led to an eventual team fight where they did get a kill. And then I think they got Pyro after that. I know they got something after that as well. So like his impact was huge pretty much from minute one. And you can't let Legion back on something like that.
Absolutely, and most of the time, either because of ward coverage or because people get poked out when they try to gank. Most of the time, they're not allowed to do that. Normally, you get like one gank. If you're lucky, maybe two ganks, and then it's like, all right, I'm either low or they're spotting me, and I'm not able to do stuff. So the fact he's able to have that much impact, and as you said, a lot of that is due to the Gilgamesh. That God just has a lot of things in the kit that are able to strongly impact the teams and like the sway of the game as throughout the entire laning slash ganking phase. That god's really strong, so I'm likely expecting a Gilgamesh ban or pick by Feeding Frenzy. I don't think they're gonna get that one there.
If you're not, I don't think the Gilgamesh if you're gonna deal with the Baba, right? If you're gonna pick it, if you're gonna ban it, I don't think you necessarily need to deal with the Gilgamesh. But having that early game to help the Baba transition into that late game was the
Not
problem,
not to
right?
interrupt you, but Jordan, you're gonna have to share your screen.
Oh,
Thank
we're
you,
all
sir. And picks and bans have already been started off. We see the Odin, we see the Artemis, we see the RDO. Good on them.
interesting.
RDO did actually do quite a lot. She was causing a lot of havoc. Most of the team fight was centered around not where the RDO is at. The RDO was kind of just getting in their back line, and most of it had to deal with the front line on the side of Paca
This
Punch.
this
So,
also leads me to believe that they're looking to pick the Gilgamesh here.
yeah, absolutely. And
Gilgamesh.
as you said, right away, Gilgamesh locked in a good pick, and also a good to get it away from the hands of Legions after his really good performance on that. And Banana
Raijin.
Clan, or Paca Punch, I should say, immediately going to respond with the Raijin. A little bit surprising after the performance that he had on the Baba Yaga, not running it back, but confident in the Raijin in general, which is completely understandable. That god is disastrous late game. Raijin gets one good ult off, and the game's pretty much feels over. But I'm interested to see where they go on the second, and they're going to go and get their backline immediately. So a complete 180 from last time, whereas they got their 3 triple front line from the beginning. They're just going to lock in their backline in this top 2, and in all fairness, a very strong backline, Rama and Raijin.
I'd like to see the Morgan Le Fay and Cerberus here out of Feeding Frenzy. I feel like Gilgamesh, Morgan Le Fay, and that mid 3v3 is very tough to deal with for that Raijin.
Absolutely, and I also think in team fights in particular, actually,
Yemoja.
they're going to hover their Moja, picking the emote immediately. I like that just as
I
much.
like that. Yeah,
Yemoja is great, and they're going to get Cerberus, and now we're completely flipping the script. Whereas last game, Feeding Frenzy blocks in their backline immediately, and Pack a Punch goes for the triple front line. Now Feeding Frenzy is going to lock in the triple front line, while Pack a Punch hits their backline. And once again, with the triple front line, that's a scary comp.
I
Cerberus
like.
kind of forced out a lot. Gilgamesh and Yamoja do synergize well with each other if they are unable to get out of the Yamoja ult, and then Gilgamesh ults in on top of them, you might as well wrap up that team fight there. That's just over. The game.
I like. I like the Cerberus Umoja. I feel like you didn't need to necessarily pick the Cerberus there. There are still good things you can play in solo if they decide to ban the Cerberus. If they decide to ban the Cerberus in the second phase, you're getting yourself an ADC because they can't ban 2 really strong ADCs. I would have liked to seen them pick up the Morgan Le Fay instead of the Cerberus because I feel like that, like I said, that mid 3v3 with Yamoja, Gilgamesh, Morgan Le Fay is just nasty. However, Pack-a-Punch is now in a very interesting spot where they have to either double down and ban Morgan Le Fay and Baba, or they have to ban one of the two. Uh, that they have to ban the one they feel like they can't play against.
Yeah, and honestly, I personally am gonna disagree. I just really like the Cerberus pick. I don't know. I think Cerberus and Gilgamesh have just such, in all the games I've played with them, have just such this natural synergy with each other that tend to just, it just works. That's the best way I can put it. It just works well. But Morgan Le Fay so far not even on the table. Both the teams just seem to be ignoring it. Perhaps not really their cup of tea. Scylla and Heimdallr are going to be the bans on the side of Pack a Punch, and now they have a pick, and I wonder where that's going to go. I'm most interested to see what the jungle pick is going to be on the side of Pack a Punch. Now that the Gilgamesh is off the table, the other very standard jungle picks are gone. Osiris, Erlang, Fenrir. The only other really meta one being Serket, but Ratatosker is going to be locked in for that global pressure.
Baba
Going to be good,
Yaga.
and then immediately Feeding Frenzy locking in the Baba Yaga. So this is almost like a salty
Stupid.
run back, but Feeding Frenzy is like, okay, now we want the triple frontline comp this time. And Cupid going to be locked in. It's good into Rat. It's decent. And I mean, Rama kind of just goes into the air and doesn't care that much about it. I
Rom.
think the
We
key
got
with the
2
Cupid.
Ramas now, so now the Cupid pick is
Woo!
horrible.
Now
Yeah,
the
we got
Cupid
2.
pick is getting annihilated. That Astral Barrage, do you thought one of them was bad? Well, the Morgan just decided I'm gonna be Rama all game this game, so this next fight is gonna be a lot of astral arrows. But Terra's going to be the final lock-in, which I
I
completely agree with, and I'm honestly almost surprised they let it through because I thought the impact on that Terra was great last game.
I like that they banned the RDO because I feel like RDO in the team fight is just a pain to deal with. But I agree. I feel like Memester did a really good job um in that team fight stage with his ult. And like you said, he was getting 5 to 10 man ults each time. So I would have liked to see them ban that instead of the RDO.
So on the side, Feeding Frenzy, we got a lot of big circles. Gilgamesh ult, Cerberus ult, Cupid ult, Baba ult is multiple different big circles, and Umoja to trap them in. It looks, as I said, like they're flipping the script a little bit. The late game team fight on the side of Feeding Frenzy is looking a bit scary. If Umoja gets anybody caught in those walls, they are pretty much dead, assuming they don't have whatever the relic that lets you walk through.
Phantom.
Oh, Phantom Veil, that's the one.
Yeah.
Assuming they don't have a Phantom. But if any of these two big circles find their mark, the team fight's over. Whether it's like a Gilgamesh ult and a Cupid ult both finding their marks, or a Cerberus ult and a Gilgamesh ult, or a Cupid and a Baba ult, whatever. Whatever combination you want to throw in, if they're able to get these big ultimates effectively throughout, it's going to be really hard to stop Feeding Frenzy. But on the other side, Ratatoskr, Raijin, Rama actually have a decent amount of pressure. Rat in particular is going to be interesting to me to see how he navigates these team fights, because with those big circles, he's going to rat ult in and then have to deal with those. So I wonder how that is going to impact these fights.
I feel like Paca Punch's draft is more execution based. I feel like Feeding Frenzy's draft is pretty easy, right? Like you said, bunch of big circles. Any of the three, whether it be Gilgamesh, Cerberus, Umoja, they hit their ult. GG hits his, or Cupid hits his, and it's pretty much a GG at that point. Personally, I'm gonna side on the Paca Punch side of things, but that's just because me personally love Xing Chen solo. So anytime I see a Xing Chen solo, I have to fanboy for that. And I also like my Ratatasker, and I feel like with mannequins, he can do the same thing he did with Gilgamesh. I think building Rat very hybrid is good, and like you said, he can have that pressure if he executes well enough. And I feel like, believe it or not, early this Cupid and Baba will both have a really hard time with this Ratatasker.
Absolutely. As a jungle main, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Jing 10 solo makes me sad. Please stop using that god. I can't gank it. I hate it. But
You're welcome.
absolutely, I do agree that Jing 10 is a very good god overall. I mean, you're forfeiting lane pressure, but into a Cerberus, you're not really ever getting lane pressure to begin with, so you might as well just park it and wait for these late game team fights. Jing 10 just impossible to kill in lane. His MP5 passive, his inherent tankiness, his 2 leaps, his root. You don't have to worry about ever killing that guy. He's safe, he's on an island. So most of the early game is going to be impacted through this mid and through this dual lane, and I'm a little bit interested to see how this Cupid Umoja lane ends up faring, because I feel like on both sides this can be a volatile lane. They should probably out-clear with the Rama, but he is going to get heart bombed to take a little bit of hope here. Umoja's doing her funny haha classic of just pressing 1 multiple times to gain a lot of pressure here. And the mid 2v2 will be interesting as well. As I said, I'm just really interested to see what this Rat is able to accomplish, because Rat isn't really known for his late game. You definitely want to see some impact. And if Legion's able to do a similar thing that he did last game, I'm sold 100%. If he's able to go impact all of these different lanes, get all these ganks off, make sure that they have this pressure, it'll be great. But as you said, the execution is a lot harder on Paca Punch's side, and I'm not 100% that if they get into these really late game fights, that Ratatoskr is going to be able to bring the same impact that Gilgamesh will, simply by pressing his 4 key.
I'm worried that if this game 2 goes anything like game 1, Paca Punch is gonna succumb to what Feeding Frenzy did game 1, right? Feeding Frenzy has a lot of the draft that worked for Paca Punch last game with these team fights and the way they went, and these extended trades, and they were doing 2v2s, 3v2s, you know, and that favors Feeding Frenzy a lot. The thing with this Ratatasker is he has to play it correctly, right? And in my mind, Ratatasker, which I mean, you're more of a jungle main than I am, obviously, but I feel like Rat's a lot like Fenrir. You play for the early game, and then you build Bruiser to kind of carry you into that late game where you're doing the CC. You're more of that, you know, pseudo solo lane tank. As I say that, there's a 4-man rotation to duo.
Legion's going to go up and he's going to blink, but unfortunately, Cvgnito is wise to it and is able to get the dash off immediately. Bickering Leaf is actually going to get collapsed on those. His 3 will get him just barely out of there. The 4-man rotation is going to be for naught. And that is not a good sign because Baba Yaga now has a level, and that's going to be free farm for ggDsn in the meantime. I like the thought process. Both Yemoja and Cupid don't feel great from behind, wanting to get those early, but committing the mid laner to that one as well, and it's still not turning out. Definitely not a great sign. Good heads up by Cvgnito. He dashes off right in time before that Ratatosker Acorn Blast hit him. But going back to what you were saying earlier, I completely agree. Rat has great early pressure, getting in there, acorning, one-shotting, thing. Yeah, late game, if you build damage, you're just gonna die. You're not doing agency damage, you're not doing mid damage, you're just gonna go in a one-shot. So he does have a very similar feature into Fenrir as of just building tank and trying to disrupt. But in my opinion, in a late game, Gilgamesh just does the same thing, but better.
Yeah.
So it'll definitely be interesting. I guess my point in all this is I want Paca Punch to be aggressive early. I want them to be getting in there, but the opposite is happening right now. Feeding Frenzy. It's SonicRefuGee just goes in immediately, goes on the right, exports double dash, and goes, hey, here's the Within Smash.
That's a whole lot of damage. That is the cap to probably the worst situation that could have happened out of that 4-man rotation, because not only did GG get the free farm in mid, he stole the back camps, and then that led to the eventual first blood.
Here, Cvgnito is going to ult on the Brotaco, and Brotaco is going to fall. He hangs on to the beads there. I don't know if he just figured that that damage was not going to be as much as it was, but
I think if he beads and rolled out, he lives there.
I do believe as well, maybe his roll was down, I'm not entirely sure, but
Legion's
he holds on to the
looking...
beats, but he is dead, and Legion's actually doesn't see the Cupid, so not much is going to go on from there. And a solo kill for Cvgnito, that looks really good. He definitely wants that getting ahead. Legion's getting aggressive over here on SonicRefuGee, but he's going to get the classic Gilgamesh.
Oh, what a stun!
Auto, stun, auto. And Legion falling down right then, right there. And already we were talking about, we want Paca Punch to win early game, and not happening so far, but means they're looking to get a little bit aggressive here.
Good ult by GG.
GG is going to get a really nice ult. Regs is going to have to fall back immediately. Means there's a little bit of danger, but not too bad. I keep on calling SonicRefuGee Legion because he's the only good king that. But Rat jumping on top of this Yemoja. 1 HP going to fall down. Brotaco hits the Rama snipe.
One wish,
and Paca Punch, Feeding Frenzy actually doesn't fully succeed in what they want to do there, which is a good punch back by Paca Punch.
Problem is, that was 4 ults for Leaf, and this Raijin no longer has beads for another 30 seconds, and Shamash is up. So I would like to see Rags clear this wave and back and play super safe, because if not, it's going to end very badly for him very quickly.
As you say, SonicRefuGee looking around here, he could look to get aggressive mid, but nope, Rags is going to fall back. He is going to play this one safe. But two relics down inside Paca Punch, but not too much is going to come from there. But already a 1k gold lead, which at 6 minutes is actually pretty good. Back up, we're going to look to see some progression here in the zone with the Shamash coming out onto Jing 10 falls over. positive trade for Caribou there because Ziilla, he got wins a Shmach and Zilla's beads, and he's
Zilla's all.
locking out plenty. That's why I said I don't like Jing 10 at the beginning of this game as a jungle main, because he tried to gank him, and what did he do? He CC-abused it, now he's going to HP5 himself back up. But Vigor and Leaf going under a little bit of pressure here, going to get half health, but he's just going to walk away from there after hitting the stun. Not too much going to come from that.
Exactly what I want.
The tide calls.
And
Looks like they're gonna 3-man invade this red. No, they're gonna rotate
no, they're
duo.
looking for this duo lane. Cvgnito is aware of it, immediately runs out of there. Is Rat going to go in anyway is the question. He opts not to, just jumps away, but he's going to go right into a Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh going to kick him to that wall. Big Green Leaf, about half HP, chasing down Legions is ggDsn. That house is whipping out home sweet home magic, and their Legions is going to fall. Big Green Leaf gets out with 1 HP. Killing spree. Kicked into the wall is Rags, and this Gilgamesh is starting to look like last game. Gilgamesh put a great Umoja ult is going to lock in Brotaco, and he's got nowhere he can go. The 1 HP hero making plays out of nothing. Memester is just gonna have to watch now. They're actually gonna chase him down super far into his jungle. He's low, he doesn't have much he can do. Heart bomb a little bit off the mark. He's gonna dash. But
He's just buying time.
Should just die here, but he is buying time. He is making sure that they can't get anything with the kills that they just got there. But once again, Gilgamesh proving to be very, very effective.
That was all Big Green Leaf. You know, I was a real big fan of the way he played that Ares last game, and when I saw the Umoja, I got all happy inside because the way he played, I knew if he played game 2 the way he played game 1, he was going to have a lot more of an impact with this Umoja than the Ares, and he just proved that right there. He got out on 1 HP, came back in and said, you know what, I have a 4 button, and they ended up killing Memester, Legion, Rags, and Brotaco out of that.
And also Guild Kick getting so much value here. My man's kicking everybody into walls. I mean, the Conquest walls gotta just be painted in blood because there are so many people getting drop kicked across the map. Ziilla actually gonna pick up a kill on the Legion, and Big Caribou going to get forced out here with the Shmach forced out. Now Memster's gonna come, but Caribou is actually re-engaging here as Brotaco has used the Terra ultimate to lock him in. SonicRefuGee low here, gonna get the lead out, but the Raiden is there and going to use the CC to Raiden also make sure he doesn't get kicked anywhere. SonicRefuGee going to fall. A good response by Paca Punch to the aggression that was shown in the duo. So a 1-for-1 is going to be the final tally of that engagement.
GG's looking at gank Brotaco. He's half HP under his tower.
Ooh, unfortunately,
Good ult.
a little bit off the mark on the first 2 abilities, but Brotaco's got nowhere he can go, and Baba Yaga's doing Baba Yaga things, let me tell you what. And now we have the Rat ult coming out, but let me tell you something about Warlock staff. They're not tanks, they don't have defense, but they feel like tanks, and you saw that right there. Legion's lands down, hits him with the 2. GG looks like he just got tickled by a feather. He doesn't care, he just walks out of there like nothing.
I'd like that Feeding Frenzy has a pretty significant about 4k gold lead, even though there's no objectives really gone down. I mean, they got gold score, but no gold fury.
That's almost better because that just goes to show how much of the map they really are. They're stealing a lot of farm, they're just gaining more farm in general. They have a good lockdown on these buffs, good lane pressure. Now they're going at a 4k gold deficit, or more so I should say, Feeding Frenzy has a 4k gold lead coming into the stages game where Gold Fury is going to start becoming a big objective on the map for them to look towards.
And the thing you don't want to see is Legion's down about a half a level to this Gilgamesh, which the big thing with the draft out of Paca Punch was trying to, you know, help that early game with the Ratatasker. As I say that, it looks like Feeding Frenzy's just...
Pyro. Big Green Leaf gonna get a little bit poked out, but they can't even really show face here. They actually drop the Pyro Master. I'm not sure that's the call because they can't really stop it. Actually, not able to pull out here. They are gonna pull it back up, and oh my god, where did your health bar go, Reg? Later. Frenzy is able to secure that. A good try by Memester to get that with the Crushing Earth, but not quite going to be able to do the damage it needs to do. And that's why I was saying I like Cerberus. Cerberus walks, Ziilla walks over, hits Rags with a 1 and just obliterates him. But actually, they're going to show a ton of aggression, driving straight to the T1 to get Big Green Leaf under that tower. Terra ult and Rat proving decently potent right now. Actually, Caribou is going to ult after he beats the Cerberus ult, and that's going to be that's going to be an ult on each side and a beats on each side. And they're going to walk out of there. Memester getting it backstopped. Looks a little bit angry about that. Understandable, but
that was the same thing we were talking about last game, though. Memester had a really good ult, and they just blew up Big Green Leaf.
Absolutely, and that's a good recognition by them to realize that even though Feeding Frenzy got the Pyromancer, that there was still a play to be made, especially while they're behind. You definitely have to look to punch back whenever you can. So even though it is only the support, getting a pick is definitely valuable for them. And now Legion's looking for at Cvgnito. Cvgnito has no idea. Going to have to be the dash on top of Cvgnito is going to get him low, but those healing, oh my god, he got so much of them, but a great Terrastone and a Frenzy coming in. Now the whole Goon squad has rolled up. That is a lot of big circles coming out. GG instantly says see you later to Bro Taco. Reg's forced to go into the ultimate, and he does not have much that he's able to do here in this rat, but he goes back on the SonicRefuGee. Actually, Regs gets a good amount of damage, and a Crushing Earth is going to pick him up on the back end. I thought Legions wasn't going to be able to do anything there, but they proved me wrong, as SonicRefuGee eats a lot of abilities from 3 different people, and he goes away.
You know, Legions literally did what I was about to say. I was like, you know, Feeding Frenzy is doing a really good job farming, and this Cupid has very quietly got about a 2-level lead on this Rama. And as I was thinking that, Legion said, okay, and went over and dealt with it. He now has about a 2-level lead on this Gilgamesh, so pretty much negating that Cupid's lead. And this is what you need out of Paca Punch. You need that punch back, right? Because I definitely feel like this Feeding Frenzy draft late game is going to be tough to deal with.
But they are executing pretty well on Paca Punch. Just that one team fight alone, we saw that they were able to get that single target selection and lock it down. First Cvgnito, then onto SonicRefuGee. But we saw a little bit of the other side as well with big circles, as Brotaco just got obliterated by ggDsn, Big Green Leaf, and SonicRefuGee at the top of their ult. Bill's gonna rotate in the mid, force out the beads out of Regs. Not much more is gonna happen there. Legion's going up into the air. He actually looks to get aggressive here. He's hovering around, but he doesn't really have a good target to land on. He lands on Ziilla. Zilla's going to take a decent amount of damage. Terra all pops out. ggDsn pops home sweet home. Cupid all comes out. Gilgamesh all comes out. A lot of big circles. Goodbye, Memester. Nowhere you can go. Rosako doing a ton of damage though. And oh my god, is his autos going crazy. Goes into the air. Snipe, snipe, snipe. Gets a little bit of stuff down, and a good defensive ult from Big Green Leaf is going to get them out of there. Unfortunately, Caribou not able to find anything with that big 10 ult in the back. Legion's actually getting aggressive here, but that is dangerously close.
Where did your health bar go?
That's the Cerberus special. Man just held 2 on him, got everything shredded, but actually this is not a good pull by Paca Punch, because everybody's going to rotate in. Actually, I'm completely wrong. Taco says, see you later, SonicRefuGee. Goes bye-bye. Paca Punch gets the Gold Fury. They proved me entirely wrong in about 2 seconds, because I don't know where Refugee went, but he was there and then he wasn't.
It's just a really bad communication between Sonic and the rest of his team. They knew they were doing gold. I think most of the team wanted to give the Gold Fury up. I mean, you still had a lead at that point. You still have a lead after the gold, but getting Sonic even farther behind of this Ratatasker is not something you want to see. And he went in to try to steal it, and then the team followed with him, but it was very dysfunctional.
Yep, absolutely. And on the opposite side of that, great job by Paca Punch capitalizing. Even though they fell a little bit short early, they are making some good movements here. But still a good 2k gold lead by Feeding Frenzy, but considering it was almost 2k at like 6 minutes, a really good job of stemming the bleeding, making sure that this game doesn't get any worse than it was from the very beginning. And in all fairness, despite what we were saying on the cast, Paca Punch is kind of winning these team fights when it comes to team fights. Feeding Frenzy, despite their comp, are actually mostly getting their kills off of picks.
Just very surprising considering the fact that GG has a 2-level lead. As I say that, he's getting aggressed on.
Collapse on, but Beams are actually going to take the brunt of a lot of this damage. But Terra Ult is going to be good on the heal. SonicRefuGee went in, but he is low. Down goes Legions, down goes SonicRefuGee's life. But in the backline, they were able to find 308 regs, so no mage available for this fight. Ziilla is just gonna walk out. They're gonna trade the mid for the jungle.
I think that favors Feeding Frenzy because
it absolutely does, because
Taco had to rotate.
Wasn't there, and now Cvgnito gets a free T2 because he wasn't even there.
Yeah, and on top of that too, GG's still alive. I mean, Rags is just now respawning, but you know, had that fight continued, GG was still alive. The problem I see with Feeding Frenzy right now is GG just solo committed everything on the Memester. Rags did fall, but he did a lot of damage to Sonic before he died. And again, this is kind of the same problem that they were having last game, right? The backline is just too opposite targets. I mean, you know, Cupid wasn't there, but GG wasn't with his team. He was just straight trying to kill Memester. And I think that's a good job on Memester because he forced GG into that situation, but I think GG should have just rotated to his team. Memester was half HP. He would have done more with his ult. They probably could have got Legions maybe and Rags had he just hard committed into that team fight with them.
Absolutely. And as we see, the gold charts at the beginning of the game trending up straight towards Feeding Frenzy, then kind of dipped really far down, then dipped right back up a little bit there. So about a 2k gold lead on the side of Feeding Frenzy. And I'm just interested to see, a lot of these team fights haven't been 5-on-5s, they've been 3-on-4s or 4-on-5, yada yada, but actually Beamster is going to be super aggressive on the ggDsn, but oh my god. If you ever needed an example of Vamp Shroud, there it is. He just full healed, he didn't even care. But aggressive on the side of Legions to go in, but not much is going to be able to be done. They are going to get really aggressive in those towers. Rags is 1-8. All big circles going on everywhere, and now Legions is completely locked in by the UFO. Nowhere to go. Slowly getting whittled down until the soldier and proc makes it a lot faster, and there he is going to drop. And a good fight by Feeding Frenzy means that they're in a good spot here. But Caribou wants to get a return kill, wants to make sure that SonicRefuGee falls in return, and he succeeds completely. However, he may fall on the back end of this. His team going to try to help him out here. Not much he's able to do. He's trying to make sure he gets a return kill, but considering Caribou is level 18 and Refugee is level 14, not sure how worth that trade's going to be in the end. But at least he was trying to make sure that the team fight wasn't totally one-sided there.
3T1 tower. I'd like to see them take the 2 tower. They have the emojis to stand. I'd like to see them walk right to gold. Gold spawning in about 15 seconds, give or take. Which it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Well, that's exactly what I needed out of GG. That team fight went as well as it did because GG just focused all of his damage onto Rags, onto Legions, and again, Leaf had a great ult under that T1 tower.
Beams are looking for the hero play. Not quite able to find it, but he tries his best. But now, actually, on the other end, bad spot, he is going to get threaded down. Not much he's going to be able to do here. He's just going to fall. A couple of ults expended. And the back end, Legion's trying to get in there, but he just cannot do much there. Good damage by Reg despite the level discrepancy. Beams are going to pop his ult aggressively there. And Rag's looking to capitalize on it.
Well, that's a huge ult.
That is a huge emoji ult. Is going to lock in multiple, and then Caribou responds immediately with the large thing 10 ult. And Legion's going to get, or SonicRefuGee going to get Matthews back with Rags. Memester 1 HP, getting collapsed on. Don't know if he's going to be able to get out here as Ziilla is a little bit off the mark from the stun, so maybe, but good stun, cancels out the 2. Memester actually able to live there, surprisingly enough, but the backline on Paca Punch dead, and the Gold Fury to the side of Feeding Frenzy.
Same situation. Pyro's about 15 seconds away. I like the fact that GG and Sagno backed. I'd like to see them just go straight. Yep. Look at Leaf. Leaf's already pulling the Pyro. He's standing there waiting. Legion's half HP. He can't even contest this. I think this is just a free Pyro to the side of Feeding Frenzy.
I don't think there's a point in really showing face to this Pyromancer. Pyromancer not that big of an objective. Just let him have it, farm him. At this point, the discrepancy in both levels in gold is just a little bit too much. Playing with Fire Ray here, trying to look in. Tries to go for the field, can't really get it. Zilla's going to try to punish him for that. Not much is going to count, but actually, Memester, Caribou in a bad spot here. The entire team they're walking into, Memester gets a good route, and they're not quite able to capitalize on that.
I like what Sonic tried to do there. He tried to pop the bubble with his 3, just slightly missed. Ziilla can, oh no, Ziilla missed his stun. I was gonna say Ziilla could pop his bubble pretty easy. I don't like the bubble pickup here on the Terra. I liked it last game, but I feel like a Spirit Road would have just been better. They have a lot of easy ways to pop the bubble.
Something to keep in mind with these fights, there is just a very large damage discrepancy, both on the charts and in the levels. Solos, both 19. Jungles, both 18. Support, a 1 level lead for the Terra, but it is the 5 levels in mid that is terrifying to me. Baba Yaga, already scary late game, but when your mid laner is so far behind, that Raijin's just not hurting. He's not doing a damage. He's practically completely ineffective here. And the ADC being 2 levels behind as well, he actually stopped building Rage to go straight into Dominance because he didn't think he had enough pen.
He also has Bracer instead of Aegis, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah, they have 2 Bracers. Feeding Frenzy just gets that completely for free. That is absolutely fine.
Oh, that's a huge ult too.
Absolutely massive ult. Memester is going to have to go on a full retreat, but it does not matter. Home Sweet Home doesn't care if you're running away. It is going to chase you. A good heart bomb on the Caribou here, and that's just a little bit of a disconnect on Paca Punch here, as Caribou is just gonna fall. I don't see a world where he lives here. There's 5 people just running it. Paca trying his best to keep his solo laner alive, but he himself might fall. That was dangerously close, and actually proved me wrong, because Caribou and Rotako both come out with a sliver of HP left. And just the disconnect on Paca Punch's decision making there. They weren't there in time for the fire. They didn't really show enough face to get them off of it. And if you're gonna sack fire, you gotta sack fire. Just leave it be, go farm, go push up the lanes. And instead, they get the fire for free and then immediately are able to look for the fight after and pick up 2 free kills.
That was a really good team fight. It was a really good split team fight by Feeding Frenzy. They've been trying to do this since game 1, and it's been very dysfunctional from the rip. But that was the first time we've seen it kind of pay off, where they split the team fight into 2 fronts, and they just win it heavy.
Absolutely, or not something common, because you'd rather just have to win 1 team fight rather than 2 in order to win it, but it does turn out for them well there. And now all the T2s whittle down, they're going to get their backs off, and now that 10k gold lead that they have, it has officially become effective, because all of them are back, all of them have gotten their items. They're in a huge power play potential here. Phoenix is, one of them is definitely in jeopardy here. With a 10k gold lead plus Fire Giant in itself, a massive lead to have. It's
they need to
looking scary for the side of Paca Punch here.
The only way Paca Punch wins this Phoenix defense on left side is understanding that Memester is basically nothing to GG. GG has a 6 level lead on this Terra. So I feel like they definitely need to, as I say that, Legions has to, ooh, crit gold.
Crit gold bird for sure, and they are running him down. Legion's just going to buy as much time as he possibly can. He's running cross. He actually is able to get out there, but at the cost of his beats and his ultimate. Very wide open for them, but good on him. Make sure that he's alive. Feeding Frenzy going to pick that up. Good try from Rotako to try to take that away, but it's not going to work. And once again, they're floating around way too close if they're going to be dropping that objective. And now, Caribou caught in the middle of nowhere. Good thing he's Jing 10, but it doesn't even matter because he's getting absolutely shredded. Jing 10 is going to come out, so that's completely defensively. 2 ultimates dumped out. And Caribou going to end up falling there. And this should be just a 3 left. Phoenix, they do not have the beat to stop this.
There's the frenzy, there's
the emotional, there's the frenzy, and actually able to find a pick on the SonicRefuGee is a really good play by him, and now the Phoenix is actually getting halted a little bit. I'd like to see them aggress this anyway, just because they have the back, but the Ratatoaster is coming in from behind. He's looking for a backline, Acorn a little bit off the mark. GG's just going to be able to dash off. Phoenix is safe for now. They are looking to put a bit more damage. Legion in the area, looking to go on ggDsn, but he's unable to find it. GG is able to get out. Cupid all forced on the defensive, but Rotako coming in huge with an absolutely massive kill on the Cvgnito, and oh my god, Legions, you just got Baba Yaga. Papa bless your health bar, it just disappeared. Rotako getting aggressive, he is feeling himself, and unfortunately feeling himself a little bit too much, because that was not a good engagement to take. He got blown up immediately. ggDsn, he started that fight with an ult, and now he's going to pop again, because Baba Yaga beat Baba Yaga, and now Memester in a rough spot, probably committing to the wrong target here, is Feeding Frenzy, as Memester's not going to die off. Ziilla is going to get an ult off, but not much going to come of it. Jing 10 going to Washington, leading him straight into the wall. Reg's going to pick up green leaf, and this is actually super positive for Paca Punch. They got FG down on everybody, and
Legion needs to be careful. GG's going to kill him. That's
GG
twice.
Is actually our force. Legion keeps, how do I
Sonic's coming.
this? Messing around and finding out. But
Yeah.
Legion goes into the air. No, excuse me, he's not going into the air, he's just getting away there. Ziilla trying to pick something up here. SonicRefuGee going to go on to Reg. That's 2 frontliners, and Regs is going to fall there. Gilgamesh be doing damage, let me tell you.
That's 2 fights in a row that GG just straight up made this Ratatasker 2 HP with 1 ability.
And as we were saying in the beginning of this game, actually I'm not going to get a moment to speak because this fight's been going on for what feels like an eternity. Means they're going to pop it up. Finally I get some time to breathe. Now that I've taken a breath. That's the problem right now, and this is why every single jungler and their mother is just building 3 defense items, because that's what happens when you build offense like this rat did. Backline does more damage. I'm sorry. I know it sucks. As a jungle man, it pains my soul. Backlines are better roles than jungle is. Jungle's not feeling very good right now, so you need that defense, otherwise that's going to happen. He's going to eat 1 Baba Yaga potion, and his entire health bar is going to disappear because the backline does far more damage than you do. And there it is again. For the last 2 or 3 fights in a row, Legion gets close to Baba Yaga, and Baba Yaga goes, aha, you don't have magic procs, throws 1 ability at him, and his entire health bar disappears, and now this is completely free heavy for Feeding Frenzy. But time and time again, Paca Punch making
Memester
over and over and over again. If you're gonna drop,
You just can't
you
be
gotta
there.
drop the objective.
Yeah, you just can't be there, bud.
If you're sacking it, you're sacking it. You can't keep showing up with just 1 person. You're getting picked for no reason, and this might just be the game. We have PFG on the 3 far.
Legion's
on the 4
up.
people. It is a 4v5. That Phoenix is gonna fall immediately.
Oh, that's a good ult by Umoja.
Later, Legion, you got 1 shot because you don't got defense. Now, SonicRefuGee going to get the kill onto Rotako right off the back end of that. Caribou 1 HP. They should just be wrapped up and all good.
We're going to a game 3.
This is definitely going to be a game 3. Poor Reg is going to try to just pad his damage stats. There is nothing else he's going to do about this because this is about as over as they can get. They need to start putting, in this set, more priority on the Baba Yaga. It is working way too well.
I don't
For both
disagree. I don't disagree. And I think if you're Paca Punch, you're obviously taking first pick. I think you ban the Cupid. Honestly, that Cupid 100-0 Legion many times. He just straight up deleted him in that last team
Disagree.
fight.
I think any ADC does that. I think Legion's needs either a god that he feels more comfortable doing defense on, or he needs to build defense.
Baba Yaga did
Pains my
not
soul.
die.
It pains my soul. You can't build offense in the jungle right now. You
I
can't.
don't disagree.
You're gonna die. There's nothing you can do.
If he had Spectral, in that build, Cupid did not just one-shot him.
And
Flat out.
as is being highlighted, 26k damage coming out from both the mid and solo on the side of Feeding Frenzy.
Yeah, but that's Cerberus and it's Ziilla, so that
Cerberus.
doesn't count. He probably,
Damage.
inted to get the Cerberus damage. That doesn't count.
Actually, if you go back, the Brotaco did do a decent amount of damage in his favor. He actually out-damaged the Cupid.
You know,
he was getting in there.
So the one thing I'll say with Brotaco is he got behind early, and you made the comment about how he was gonna go into the rage and then decided to just go straight into the dominance. He completely ditched the crit idea and he went Kins. He ended up selling the T2 Rage for Kins, and I think that was the best thing he could have done because at the same time they were roughly like the same amount of kills. And unfortunately, before the extended, 20-minute team fight we had, he was actually doing better than the Cupid. I know the scoreline doesn't matter.
Okay, let's see. So, actually, Brotaco Player of the Year award, the ultimate bait. He built the tier 2 to get Big Green Leaf to build crit, and then he sold the crit. so Big Green Leaf built Spectral, and then Brotaco sold the crit.
He built Spectro and Taco went, haha, joke's on you, nerd!
The 900 IQ Giga Brain play by Brotaco, surely why he did so much damage there. Just thinking one step ahead of the rest of the universe, playing 5D chess while all of us are playing checkers.
So I don't, on a serious note though, I don't disagree. I feel like this is a 2-0 on the side of Paca Punch. If for whatever reason, I don't know why they chose to prioritize that Raijin instead of the Baba. The Baba was up. Why wouldn't you just take the Baba?
Yep, and now we've seen it in 2 games now where the Raijin has proved very much ineffective in comparison to the Baba. The Baba has cleaned house in both of these games, and the Raijin has been almost ineffective in both of these games.
I see what you did there. Clean house. She's got a house. I see what you did there.
I appreciate you having my back on that one. I tried to make it subtle, but yeah, when it comes in, I mean, both teams won with a big circle comp, so I'm expecting both teams to try to go for a big circle comp this time, honestly, and it makes sense because it's easier to execute on. It really is. Because, as I said, like, when you have a comp like Paca Punch had, you're forcing yourself to play it correctly every single time. You have to come in, you have to get a pick, you have to neutralize somebody, otherwise it's not going to work. But there is so much leeway room in the big circles comp. You can miss 1 big circle, you can probably even miss 2 big circles. As long as 2 of those alts find something, the team fight's over. And when you have a comp that's easier to execute on, most of the time, you're just gonna win because you have less conditions you need to set to put yourself into a W during these team fights.
I feel like what needs to happen is that whoever is first pick, they need to prioritize banning either Gilgamesh or the Baba Yaga, because the combo of the dive with the Gilgamesh, which just lets this Baba, as you said, clean house with the house, there's not much you can do about it. And then you put the Emoja on top of that, and it's just GG from there. So whoever is first pick this game, I would like to see them prioritize
force the other team into understanding that they have to ban either the Gilgamesh or the Baba, or you yourself you ban the Gilgamesh so you can pick the Baba, because the problem is whoever's getting the Gilgamesh, the other team can't really pick Baba Yaga, because I feel like Gilgamesh actually does really good diving the Baba Yaga, which is why we see Gilgamesh and then the other two pick X gods, and then Baba's pretty much locked in from there.
You know, I'm gonna disagree a little bit because I'm sold on the Baba Yaga at this point. I think it's been way too effective these past 2 fights. However, Home Sweet Home is a pretty good response to wins at Shamash. If he pops the ult, you pop the ult, and you kind of walk out, and most of the time, Gilgamesh can't really get on top of you because, well, if he's too close, he's going to get knocked up. And if he tries to chase you, your puddles are going to go on them. I think both of these teams have been putting high priority on both the Baba Yaga and the Gilgamesh. I'd like to see the tone of both of these teams flip more towards the Baba Yaga, because I feel like both games, the Baba Yaga has been the biggest impact player throughout.
I don't disagree that I feel like the Yaga is the more important of the two. I just think the reason that the Yaga is paired with the Gilgamesh is his early game is so important. And I don't think Yaga's early game is the absolute worst. I mean, like, until she hits level 5, it's kind of trash. But he does such a good job with the early pressure that you don't need to worry as much. Which is why I feel like if you're not prioritizing banning the Baba Yaga, you need to take the Gilgamesh out of the game. Both of these junglers have proved they can play it. Both of these junglers proved that they can impact on it, and they're letting the Yaga player just free cast at that point because they're creating so much disruption in the team fight that if you're not looking to ban Baba because you're prioritizing playing the Baba, you need to get rid of the Gilgamesh. Force these junglers onto something different.
Absolutely. I am gonna actually go grab a drink real quick. All this yelling, all this hype has gotten my throat a little parched, so I will be back in 1 minute.
You're leaving me alone with chat. This is not a good idea. Okay. I got this.
I heard you say that I was walking away. You and chat will behave yourselves. So I trust you. I'll be back.
It's not them I'm worried about. It's not them I'm worried about.
Hello, chat. I'm actually going to minimize my Discord so I can see the chatterino.
So chat, how's everybody's day? How's the Valhalla going for everybody?
That's what we like to hear. That's what we've liked to hear. Both of the sets that I've been a part of were game 3s, very lengthy boys. I think Jordan's game 3 went like 40 minutes or something like that. Jordan, right?
It's literally the third week in a row. All of my games have gone 3 games and they've been 40 minutes plus.
Yeah, not me personally, because most of our sets have been 2-0s the past couple weeks. But like a lot of the sets that I've been a part of, excluding mine, I know they can't hear you, but a lot of the sets that are excluding mine
they can hear me.
have Oh, look at that! I got Jordan. Yay! I'm not alone. There's been a lot of really good sets lately in Valhalla. A lot of the ones that I've been a part of, like I said, they're 3 games, or they're like 40-minute barn burners at games. So
we just like to put on a show. That's what it is. All the last 3 games have been casted, and they've all gone. The sets have all gone 3 games.
I'm a little disappointed that my set got rescheduled and wasn't going to get casted because I did some showmanship game 2, and I'm a little sad about it.
I think I saw the screenshots. I think you played Suki again, didn't you?
Yeah, I played Suki. I played Suki game 1, but that was not the showmanship. I played something near and dear to my heart, game 2.
I'm back.
Right, I'm
with
gonna
my
go back
water,
on the
and I'm already
into the depths
invested
and
really
spectate.
quick.
Have fun.
No, I was just telling Jordan as we're going into picks and bans here that a lot of really good Valhalla sets I've been a part of lately. You know, a lot of long ones, a lot of 3 gamers. It's been a lot of
Lot of 3-game bangers.
yeah. I was telling Jordan that I was a little sad that my set didn't get casted and it got moved. Because I did some showmanship game 2. So
Elaborate. We got a little bit of time.
I played Fenrir solo.
Nice.
And I did 10k more damage than my hunter. He did 24. I did 34.
And that's just the Fenrir diff. But we are going to go back and lock back into these picks and bans as we have Tiamat, Odin.
Pretty much
Persephone.
the standard 3 so far.
Just get them out of here. Get these gods out of here. I don't ever want to see
Thank
them.
you.
Immediately.
Thank you.
First shift here. They know they have first
I
pick.
wouldn't.
They get rid of the Gilgamesh.
I wouldn't even be mad with Paca Punch just outright banning the Yaga right here. This has been the typical Artemis ban. Make these hunters prove it, right? This is the last game, so one of they never mind. They banned the
Their
Cerberus.
first pick, so I
They
think
are.
they want it.
Well,
in my mind.
So if I'm feeding Frenzy here, I ban Yaga, right? So I like what Pack Punch did. Zilla's a one trick, obviously. You know, he was a stinky support player. Now he's a stinky solo laner, and he's just played Cerberus. They banned the Artio, so they're leaving. They're leaving Pack Punch with the decision: do we pick the Artemis because it's been banned both games prior? Do they pick the Artemis, or do they go with what's tried and true? Baba Yaga has 100% win rate in this set so far. And if I'm Pack a Punch, I personally think I lock the Yaga here.
I would agree.
Rags.
I think well, here's the thing with Baba Yaga, and the problem I always have with Baba Yaga, and every time a team that I'm playing against chooses in, I let out a big sigh. What do you do against Baba Yaga per se? You can early aggression, and that's about it. You can make her not get to the late game, but as soon as you get to the late game, no gods feel good in Thor because she just lives. She just ults. She's pretty much feels impossible to kill, and she does too much damage. No gods feel that good into her, and you are forcing yourself to have to win early or feel the pain late. But they go for the Artemis, which is still completely understandable, and the Osiris. These
who was also
counter
banned.
bans. Yeah, these bans. These response bans to how this set has been going so far has opened up the true meta, which has been banned, which Artemis and Osiris are very much front runners.
I would personally like to see Feeding Frenzy either prioritize the Yaga or, believe it or not, the Izanami. I've seen a lot, not just in the SPL, but in games that I play. Izanami is a response to the Artemis. Same thing with the ROM, which I'm not necessarily opposed to either. I think Iza's just better because you have that early clear and you get the pressure. The thing with the Rama, right, is Artemis hits 4, you hit 4, you don't have to worry about it. But on the same flip side of that, you know, Artemis hits 4, you hit 4, you're going to come right down to a trap. So you're going to have to beat regardless. So I'd like to see the Yaga, and personally, I'd like to see Pack a Punch take the Yamoja here. They've had a really good Terra all set. But as I say that, they picked the Ymir.
Okay. Ymir's good in the Rama.
Ymir is good in a Rama.
Really bad into Osiris.
Yes.
Osiris just walks through it.
Like I said, I know
early like that. Rama should figuratively be the only god that Ymir is good into, because the rest of these should adjust to that. Sobek, that doesn't matter. He's tanky, even if Sobek. Maybe if Sobek gets walled in a late game team fight, he might die. Here's my problem that I have actually with Feeding Frenzy's top 2. They already have Artemis on the side of Banana Clan. You don't need to choose Rama in the second slot, because you can get that in the third slot.
So why not just take the Yaga?
They're not picking Artemis and Rama. There's no flexibility there. They're both ADC. Rama's gonna be safe. You can get that in the third slot. You probably could have just gotten the Baba Yaga in the top 2, and you would have gotten Rama, and I would have liked that top 3 a lot more. But now Ymir Artemis. I get the Ymir in the sense that Ymir and Artemis is a age-old classic. You know, has he has essentially the passive or the Artemis passive that he can give Artemis. When they're CC'd, Artemis does more damage, so Ymir's just gonna freeze them. Artemis is gonna do more damage. Ymir's gonna freeze. Artemis is gonna throw a trap. Artemis is gonna slow them. They're CC'd for 9 hours. That laning phase feels really bad if Artemis isn't ganked early. But I'm interested to see what God's Feeding Frenzy is going to choose into response to this Ymir, because the one power that Ymir does have when you choose him is you have to react to it. If you're not trying to pick gods around this Ymir, then this Ymir will end the game by himself with one ability. He will wall you and the game will be done. So far, I'm favoring Paca Punch's draft, although I will say the biggest thing going for Feeding Frenzy is Osiris is a menace. That god can run you down. So I'm excited to see. And Osiris does have a bit of flex potential. He's a little bit better in the jungle. Or more so, I shouldn't say he's better in the jungle, as much as there's less jungle gods that are good as there is solo gods. So you'd likely see him in the jungle, but does have a little bit of flex. The Giannis locked in the first time we see Giannis in the set. Good global pressure, good wave clear.
I'm just
Hard to
interested
lock down.
why neither of these teams have prioritized the Morgan Le Fay. I mean, I don't think Morgan Le Fay is broken by any sense of the mean, but I definitely think Morgan Le Fay is very good right now. Interesting Bologna pickup. That looks like it might, if the Hercules gets locked in, yeah, it looks like that's a Bologna jungle.
Lona? Yeah. Okay.
Which I don't necessarily hate. You know, it's interesting to me in this meta where Osiris and Erlang are prioritized in the jungle. Why no one's picking Bologna? I don't think Bologna's bad. I think Bologna's actually very good right now.
You know, the top three on both teams, perfect sense in my brain. They got a little wild. With
I don't know. Yeah, say I don't know what's going on with these bottom.
dice.
I don't know what's going on with these bottom four. I don't think I've seen tier literally at all this season. If I'm being honest, like
So
if we're going by
I'm
SPL
gonna put full
split,
confidence in this and give him the chance to completely shut me down. Here's a bad god. I don't like.
100%.
I think here's terrible. I think that god sucks. I think the amount of execution and positional perfection you have to show, just not for that god to be good, but to be effective, isn't worth it most of the time. There are so many brain dead guardians you can slam lock in solo, and you're just gonna do more late game. Tier does have the guardian effect of he's not dying in lane, he's just gonna 2 the wave on cooldown, and that's fine, but like it's way easier to hit a Jing 10 ult or to hit Cerberus' band, which is for example Cerberus, or even like a Cabrakan, just hit a Cabrakan ult, than it is to hit a Fearless.
Hear me out. I'm gonna stop you, okay? Because we're assuming that this is tier solo, right? Hear me out. That's a tier support. I got the big brain here, right? Like I said, Zilla's playing solo, but he's a support main, and he plays Sobek a lot. That's a solo deck, 100%. That's a tier support.
If my man runs the awesome Jake 408 special,
100%
supports and runs it, I'm down for it. I'm instantly in that favor. I'm instantly sold, and I like it. Also, on the note of being a Chad and choosing tier support, Bologna Jungle's kind of Chad. That's pretty. It's getting in there. Bologna just got some buffs. She's feeling pretty good. She's a little untouched because she's not normally seen in the jungle, and she's just, I guess, more so Bologna has a really bad matchup into the Guardians that are so meta right now. There's no reason to choose it, but
it is.
You are wrong, as Big Green is going to just put it in support, and now I am instantly against it, unfortunately.
And it is Bro Taco now in the solo lane, and Caribou 80C.
So they made a swap. That's actually okay. So I'm wondering if this is forced or not, because yes, Brotaco got soloed. Yes, Cvgnito was ahead most of that set. Brotaco did a lot of damage.
Yeah, he played really well.
Damage, and I don't think he played that bad at all.
I mean, he had, you know, he was 3 and 7, but like he was making the impact, right? So
If
like,
yeah, so if that's forced, I'm not liking it. If it's not forced, then that's fine. It's whatever. I don't care. But we'll see how that goes. However, I actually like Hercules.
Me too.
Quite a bit. Maybe not necessarily into tier per se, because I think tier kind of wins that. But I do think Hercules is great because now you have. It's kind of a good response to Selbek of like, it's a plug for a plug. Memester kind of BMing Big Green Leaf for missing that plug. You love to see that. Just stared him straight down into his soul because he's like, haha, you missed.
ooh, Zilla's about to get soloed.
But Ziilla, actually, Lois took away everything I said about laning phase between Herc and tier because Protaco actually boxing him up a little bit over there. Some fights going on in mid, Legion's a little bit poked out, but ggDsn the most poked out is he's going to go back, and he's actually going to lose, what, 3 creeps so far? That seems small, but that's actually a pretty big deal this early. SonicRefuGee going to put a little bit of pressure, but not too much is going to come out of here. Now, if Cvgnito gets Ymir frozen in the trap, he's gonna have to beat, and that'll be a really good game. So I'm trying to look to see, with Ymir in general, with Memester on this pick, you have to play proactive and you have to play aggressive. Ymir's not a good god from behind. He doesn't feel good from behind, he doesn't do things, and almost all of his effectiveness solely comes from getting aggressive, getting these good walls, and getting these good press reps. So I do want to see a lot of aggression out of this Ymir to just lock down and at least force out relics early into this game, because Ymir has a lot of potential to do that.
Interesting enough, the Bologna decided to go T1 Iqbal instead of stone cutting, which I can almost guarantee that's going to be a stone cutting out of Sonic, which makes sense. But I'd like to see what Legion's builds here. I'm assuming it's going to be an Iqbal, but I think stone cutting is just better. And like you said, Memester hits a really good wall. Leaf's almost dead.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of like, you see it every now and again where you have an auto attack based jungler and sometimes they rush the Iqbal instead of stone cutting. That just tells me they're looking to be more aggressive. Overall, stone cutting is cheaper, it comes out faster, it's an easier, it's a cleaner power spike, I'd like to describe it, where it's tried and true, it's nice, you get it online, it feels good, but as soon as you get that Iqbal, you have a little bit of power play, especially into the enemy jungler that you're playing against, where if you have Iqbal and they only have stone cutting, you win those trades and you win those 1v1s, and you also have a little bit of gank pressure. But, as I said, it's a much cleaner transitioning, just getting that stone cutting online, so I am interested to see if he's able to utilize the aggression that he's going to get. And a great freeze by Memester is actually going to get 2 bullets.
GG getting first blood.
GG going to get the first blood onto Legion. He is not going to deal too much here. And a good pluck sends Caribou a little bit to the tower line, but not too much more is going to come on there. And good patience by Caribou, not using the beads, recognize he's not super in danger there, but actually the gank is coming. Ziilla gets a solo kill on the Protaco. SonicRefuGee showing face in the duo lane here, going to run them down a little bit, but he's gonna be safe because Ymir's the only one there and Cvgnito isn't close enough. But they got a kill on the jungler. They got a solo kill over in solo. This is looking pretty good so far, but Cvgnito going to get caught out, but he's in the Draugr pit. With Legions coming over, this could be dangerous. They're actually just going to go
Good ult.
right on top of Big Green Leaf, make sure that they can get the secured kill onto him. Goodbye, support, see you later. And they're gonna answer back a little bit here with that good kill. And actually, despite Paca Punch being down a kill, they are actually ahead of farm. Slightly, not by a ton, but you know.
About 300 gold, roughly.
Even though there's first blood bounty on the side of Feeding Frenzy, they're still just keeping up in this farm game, so good on them. And a lot of that's actually coming from Legions, but so this is a big thing with the Iqbal versus stone cutting. SonicRefuGee, despite being down in gold, has stone cutting already, while Legions doesn't have Iggable, so there's a little bit of time where SonicRefuGee is able to use that to his advantage and look for something here. So I'm looking to see SonicRefuGee more than likely in mid duo, as I don't think there's a ton of kill potential in that lane in general over there in solo. Get proactive and go and do something. We're gonna see a grouping in mid, and actually, as I said that, seeing it right there, Legions is absolutely demolishing Ziilla, making a really good rotation. A good Ymir wall comes out, but Meeser is going to fall almost immediately. Regs with the home sweet home, not able to get a ton done there. Rotako trying to do his best to get a return kill, but he's going to fall a little bit short, but he's actually going to blink forward. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to catch him here, not sure what his cooldowns are looking like. Pushes forward, misses the 2, and SonicRefuGee just going to walk on. ggDsn actually getting a little bit aggressive. Oh my god, that Baba Yaga one slapping him for getting aggressive on that porta, but he has a Sobek on one side and a
Beads.
But a good beads is going to cause that, and a great wall. Zilla's beads are forced out.
He
He
doesn't
actually
have
dropped the wall early, I believe, but it doesn't matter because Legions is going to pick up Ziilla. A little bit of an overextension after he gets the beads, trying to get aggressive in there. And taking down the 2-0 and 1 tier, some good gold in the pocket of the Valhalla jungle. And now that he has that Iggable, he's just running at Cvgnito. 3-0 Regs are going to pick up a kill on the big green leaf. They're looking aggressive on the thread, but ggDsn absolutely no mana, absolutely no alpha going to get collapsed on a pick. Is found for Legion, but he's going to get answered back immediately. A nice 4 force out the bead. Ziilla goes right into a Ymir freeze and a boar, and looking to get aggressive is SonicRefuGee with the Rama snipes. Great Rama snipes in the background. SonicRefuGee is actually going to be able to find a lot here. Ziilla going to pick up the last thing here, as Regs is looking to be in a rough spot, but Cvgnito actually dashes in, and he may pay the price because Baba Yaga is in her
Good
house.
jukes, though.
So puts on the Jordan. Baba Yaga's Baba Yaga, though. She only has to hit 1 while he has to dodge 4. And Frio Regs actually going on a rampage here, getting 2 for just himself. A really good, what was a very, very good fight for Feeding Frenzy, actually goes a little bit haywire just because Regs went sticko mode and gets 2 kills for just himself. And that's
Now I
Baba
understand
Yaga
why you went and got water. I thought this was Conquest. I thought this was Conquest, not Arena. That was a. I feel like the extended fight is better for Paca Punch. Honestly, Rags, alt. You know, any chance you can get that off and twice in a team fight, it's just going to be better for your team personally. Good blink by Mr.
But the wall a little bit
tough.
Unfortunate. Probably a kill if he's able to find that, but oh well. Rotako gonna look for a pluck, unable to find it, but actually Beeps might be in a rough spot here. Good freeze, good wall, and actually all that aggression that they might have had from a Sobek pluck is taken away entirely because Ymir go burr, freeze go beyond assault. Actually expended, shoots it into the right side, doesn't hit anybody. I don't. Yeah, GG wasn't really in danger. I'm pretty confused about that one just because.
I think maybe he was trying to ult to see if he could do damage, and he also let Sonic get to mid faster because he was 2v1ing. That Bologna was posturing to try to dive from under tower. So Gold Scorp goes down the way of Paca Punch.
Yep, that's just gonna be quickly soloed by Legions. Sakimoto, the Go Feeding Frenzy, favorite for him. We'll see how that ends up going for him. But both Scorps gonna fall to the way of Paca Punch. Definitely getting some good gold over on those sides, opening up the map a little bit for these objectives. Feeding Frenzy going to grab the Draugr, and actually I think Caribou's looking to get aggressive on the Cvgnito as he has half HP, but not much more is gonna come of that as he's just gonna go and disengage on that side. And now,
I think
for the
out
first
of that,
time in a while, we have a little bit of time. Things are settling down.
I think Feeding Frenzy wins out of that trade. I mean, I know Paca Punch got both Scorps, but Jogger diff is real, and they secured the Jogger, so...
It's definitely good. I mean, if we look at the charts, Paca Punch probably actually got the better end just because.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, I do, yeah, Jogger diff, you know.
Yeah.
100
No.
Jogger diff.
Paca Punch has got themselves a pretty decent
A good pluck
lead.
in mid, but not much fall. It's gonna go.
Interesting
all.
all.
With the Sobek all, but there is nothing to be found, so he's gonna take his crocodile self and just go through under the portal and through the wall. And
You know, I would like to point out, since we have this slight bit of downtime, and as I say that, watch, yep, here we go. Bologna's
Legion
looking to
goes right
gank.
on top of that gank, and he slams down that hammer, gets half his HP, first base time with all, but doesn't hurt at all right now as he has 0% pen. And now, not much is going to happen, but actually Caribou in the background going to go on the Legions, or not Legions, excuse me, SonicRefuGee. SonicRefuGee going to fall to the Bologna ult from Legions, and now we are looking for a scrappy fight. Actually, they're just going to disengage Gold Fury completely wide open. A great rotation by Bro Taco. He's able to zone out as much as he wants. He's just running down DP at his T2. It should be relatively free unless Sobek comes in big. Nope, unfortunately not able to find that wall, not able to find him either. And Bro Taco getting lost in the sauce here. He is not making GG feel comfortable at all. He is just running him down. And a great pick there. SonicRefuGee just got a little bit too deep into there, was looking to try to 1v1 the Artemis, but the funny thing about Artemis is she's got a 4, and she will whip it at you every single time she gets an opportunity. That's exactly what she did. They lock down on top of her. It takes 2 ults, but that gives them the Gold Fury, the Pyro, and the Jungler's life. And now, what was completely even is now steadily going into the favor of Paca Punch.
Yeah, they've got about a K. It's almost 2, it looks like, roughly. And honestly, most of that is on the jungle. What I was gonna say, and as I try to say it again,
Legion going, or SonicRefuGee going in, and he ults in, but not able to find Caribou. Rama snipes, hits one of them, the other 2 a bit off the mark, and Caribou actually a bit in danger here. He's not backing up nearly as much as he should, and he's going to get jumped on by Cvgnito. Yeah, the Giannis actually goes in, but he's gonna get clowned on. Oh no!
you hate to see it.
And he goes in right to the Ymir's waiting arms, and he gets himself some Artemis passive enhanced autos on top of a Ymir freeze, and later, kid, he is gone.
That's tough with 2 Fs, you know. What I was gonna say, now that I have the chance, is the Rama's doing really good of keeping himself about a half level up of this Artemis. They're even now, but most of this lead for Paca Punch is on Legions, on this Bologna. He went Shoguns after the Iqbal. Looks like he's probably going Berserk next, I would imagine. But he's got about a 2-level lead on this Osiris, which is not something you normally see. The Osiris opted for the Blackthorn Hammer, which is very interesting to me. I feel like he could have had better build paths than the Blackthorn Hammer, but normally you see this Osiris super early, and he's down.
Seeing Blackthorn, you're seeing it's still a bit more niche, but after the buff you're kind of seeing it, as I've said multiple times already. Jungler's building a lot of defense. Blackthorn kind of like a decent in-between, gives you some health, gives you some mana sustain, especially in the moments where your God's outright agree with you. I think Blackthorn's like, I'm ahead, lol, might as well, or you're gonna rush it when you're behind. I'm not so sure about it, especially going right into Ridwin, but I'm not gonna get a chance to talk about builds too much. Legion's gonna go right on top of Cvgnito, but 3 a little bit off the mark, 1 a little bit off the mark. All just sure memes are just running down by their T2, and actually he's a little bit caught out here, might be a bit in danger, but the rest of the team is gonna come here.
Portal by GG.
Going to get down and blow. Sobek 1 HP, bunch of ults are gonna get popped. Home Sweet Home is going to do its big circle damage as it tends to do. Feeding Frenzy gonna have to back off in that one. Low health bars on both teams. Paca Punch a little bit healthier though. Oboe also getting a little bit of work in there, but Ziilla actually on top of Legion. Legion in a bit of trouble here has the ult
Good
necessary,
wall.
but he doesn't want to expend it. A good wall to make sure GG can't quite get in there. Brotaco is actually, oh, they're getting, Ziilla gets a great kill on the Legions there. Rag's gonna live with 1 HP. Brotaco trying to get something in return, but he's not gonna be able to find much. The numbers advantage now in favor of beating Frenzy. And now Memester is gonna be the next target to get ran at, but he's doing classic Ymir things, and there's the Artemis, and goodbye SonicRefuGee. Big Green Leaf getting out 1 HP, that's a feels bad for Brotaco, unable to get the final bit of damage that's needed to take him down. He's gonna nothing's gonna be found, he's gonna throw it over the wall, but he was a little bit too far there. Just doing classic unkillable Hercules things. Running around doing whatever he wants, but actually
Caribou's gonna get double
Caribou gets a good kill right there. Ziilla a little bit forced out. Actually goes right back in, and Caribou's going to fall. A great ultimate, but followed by a good fearless. He's gonna make sure that he gets some vengeance for his mid laner. As he is going to follow Brotaco with the back spam, knowing that he missed the 2 by just a little. And a little bit of poke, and these fights are going on for so long, but it looks like they're gonna try
We're not
to
done.
A Gold Fury coming in. Oh, please save me, as Legions is gonna go in for a little bit. Big Green Leaf coming into the side. Hercules going to do some damage. Ymir freeze, Ymir wall going to hit on top of the Sobek. Sobek going into all
That's a
first
huge
time,
Giannis ult.
ripping through the Giannis ult. I don't know if that hit anybody. Does not look like it did, but Memester in a lot of trouble here. Cvgnito going to get the blast hits onto Memester to secure that kill. This fight in Speeding Frenzy's court. As Briggs is going to try to get out as much damage as he possibly can, but the Blown going to go on top of ggDsn, but there is no follow-up for him. He's actually caught in a bad spot here. Zilla's going to get a good fearless, and Brotaco in the back going to hit a good Hercules once to get ggDsn 1 HP, but now he is caught in a complete trap with every member that there is available for that, and ggDsn actually with the big
Listen, take a breath. All right, take a breath. They're gonna get gold. Caribou does not have ult. Ziilla ulted in. Caribou might die here. Somebody died to the Gold Fury. Poggers, Gold Fury MVP of the set. I think GG missed his unstable vortex is what you were trying to say, but I'm going to give you credit to the fact that you just didn't stop talking for probably a good 10 minutes, because I'm pretty sure this fight has lasted from minute 7 to minute 18. And with that being said, it looks like it's just going to be a wash on the Gold Fury after all of that nonsense.
I'm gonna say big muscle. It was a big muscle going, you know, really flexing on him there by portaling in and using his Giannis 2 despite being at 1 HP. I couldn't find a way to PG-13 my initial statement, so I just short-circuited for a little bit. Thank you for
It's okay. He had that big flex going. He felt
got
himself.
the big flex. There it is.
Yeah. He felt himself. He was feeling it. We like to see it. The confidence is key. He portaled right into a Ymir freeze.
Another big flex play, but a little bit less payoff this time.
Hey, Sobek did, however, pop the bubble of Memester, so... With all of that being said,
I'm
mind
myself
you,
some water because these fights last about 10 minutes apiece, and right now they're just...
with all of that being said, Feeding Frenzy now has about a 500 gold lead and has taken 2 T1 towers out of that entire situation. Don't ask me how or when, because I'm pretty sure we just saw a 5v5 for 10 minutes straight, but it happened.
Which way?
No, the game was settled down for half a second for the first time in forever. If we look at the thing, Feeding Frenzy, definitely ahead here. The gold is the same, but actually, never mind. I don't get to stop talking. So what we're going to do is the first space and time is going to come in and rip Memester. Actually, we are going to see Legions get aggressive on the ggDsn, but he is on. He's going to portal out, and we see home sweet home right on the SonicRefuGee. His health bar getting ripped to shred. He is low, but he is going to be able to come out. Sobek just looking to get out here. A little bit of poke damage on him. Good poke by Paca Punch. getting the better end of that fight. Maybe Gold Fury is going to be opened up here as Artemis is making a rotation. Rotaco on this first swing is going to be able to slowly work his way over here as well. SonicRefuGee having to come back from base right now as well.
They are on the Gold Fury.
They are going to pull this Gold Fury. They have a little bit of power play advantage. Legion's going to...
They are not on the Gold Fury.
They're not doing Gold Fury. They're actually giving them time to spawn back. That is not a good idea, because here they are in full swing. Now we're going back to the straight 5v5. They decided, I don't want Gold Fury. We want more team fights. And a team fight we will have. A boulder is going to rip through, hit 2 of them here, and Rotaco is going to go in, push SonicRefuGee. That is some good damage there. A big 4 is going to hit 2 of them. Memester looking to get a freeze here, but not much is going to be found. A lot of relics, a lot of ults. 3 ults available on Feeding Frenzy, but none on the side of Paca Punch, and that is going to be apparent here as Ziilla gets in there. But actually, great! Ymir Wall is going to short Ziilla up against the Gold Fury with absolutely 1 HP, and the Oboe proc gonna shut him down. But this fight is not over, as Baba Yaga going to continue his spree of damage. In the backline is Rotaco doing as much as he can over there. SonicRefuGee going to have to force out a great Ymir Wall is going to make Big Green Leaf 1 HP, but a really good Giannis portal is going to get him out for Greg, able to find the final hit on SonicRefuGee as they need it in the Gold Fury. After what feels like an eternity of fighting for it, finally goes down on the side of
Listen. I think they get extra gold from that because of the revenge kill, because the Gold Fury did kill one of the people from Paca Punch. I think that's how that works, right?
That Gold Fury was fed, for sure. It had a little bit more XP involved than normal, because it was 1-0. It was pretty big.
Well, and technically it was 1-0-1 because it did get the assist on Ziilla because he's stinky and died to the Oboe proc. So off of the Gold Fury.
Look at that Bologna swing with that Shogun's Ikavul Berserker shield. He is he's swinging. Just look at him in this next team fight. Keep your eye out for him. My man's going pop.
I would like to see.
Around that hand.
I would like to see Sobek get a Witchblade, and I'd actually like to see Ziilla get a Midgard. He really is going to shut down. It gives a lot of health, which helps with the Sundering Axe, and he's really going to shut down Caribou and Legions if he picks up that Midgard.
Alright, I was just taking a drink water while I have the chance.
No, you take your time. Don't worry. You don't worry. It's okay.
Absolutely, I do agree with you. I think both of those items would be good here, but inside of Soul Lane, both builds are actually rather complete. They just need to upgrade their starter and sell off their tier 2 Ragna's mask. The rest of the build's looking okay. There's a 3-level lead in mid, but despite that, even though he's 3 levels down, we're seeing more Baba diff going on here as he is top damage and 4-1-3 to the 3-3-7. So while Giannis has been able to farm more effectively, the more teamfight effectiveness has gone to this Baba Yaga. Rotaco looking to get a little bit aggressive over on the right side of the map. And another scrappy team fight. Here we come as a great Blink double Fearless starts off that fight just right. That Baba Yaga is going to have to get out. Legion's response on his own by diving that backline. Ziilla just looking at zone out here. If he can get a Fearless onto this Bologna, it could be good, but this Sobek actually 1 HP. Gonna throw the boulder a little bit off the mark, but he is going to get caught out by that Ymir. 1 HP on the Sobek and 1 HP on SonicRefuGee. They are able to find the Sobek, but Sonic is able to get out scot-free. ggDsn also low on the backline by this Phoenix is going to have to fall back. And now Fire Giant is busted wide open for Paca Punch. And Home Sweet Home still available. Very big ultimate going into this next fight.
I don't think this is as free as Paca Punch thinks it is. Rama does have ult, so does Ziilla. Zilla's positioning on that flank. I'd like to see him ult now.
Yep, and he's gonna... Ooh, Ziilla almost got the thing, but he is now just gonna be dead weighted out into the Armament Trap, and he's gonna just get sat on top from Home Sweet Home.
You know, this is the problem with the tier like we were talking about. I mean, he's 7-3-4. He's doing
but a great pluck on the ggDsn is actually going to put him in a bad spot as he's going to have to ult out, but he barely gets out with his life. Holy.
That man is on literal 2 HP. And this is the problem with the team comp defeating Frenzy. Ziilla
Zilla's doing a really good job. He's 7-3-4. He's causing disruption. He's a tier, so he's not
Phoenix
doing
Siege
much.
here, actually. Sobek just going and lurking the water, trying to turn them growing
Good
in,
ult.
but not gonna stop Legions from holding that W key. He's actually 1 HP though. Oh no, ggDsn going to live with nothing. They get the Phoenix Legion is going to fall though. This is only a 4v4, so the rest of them should be safe. A good pluck, but not much follow-up, and actually that's going to get turned around right on his head. He had no one to kill the person he was plucking, and ggDsn going to portal right into a boar. Not much is going to be done.
That Brahma just took half his HP because he stepped up right into Tusky. That was kind of funny. That's the problem. That's the problem with this Feeding Frenzy draft, though. This Janus is getting out on 1 HP, but he's not doing anything. And Tyr, you know, he's having a good game, but he's just not as impactful as this Hercules and this Bellona. You know, I feel like if he had played a Guardian or a different warrior, he would have been doing more. I mean, he's playing good, but he's, you know, mid-pack damage, and he's just not causing the disruption or zoning like this Hercules is.
Yeah, I will give a big props to Brotaco, even though while I think role swapping in the middle set a little confusing, he's actually looked really good inside of the solo lane. He has been causing almost an infinite amount of space. He's found some really impactful plucks during these team fights. He's looking really, really good. Obviously, Ziilla on the other hand, 7-3-4, very good KD slash line here, but he's getting a little bit out damaged, and Brotaco's effect isn't necessarily showing on the scoreboard as much as it's showing in these team fights with the space he is allowed to create. They're doing a little bit of a dance by this Gold Fury, but we still have fire on 4 members of Paca Punch, and a great freeze is going to cause Big Green Leaf to take a good amount of poke at the beginning of this fight. You definitely don't want to see that if you're on that side, but a great pluck. Unfortunately, CC'd off being able to push him into, but his space is being created. Brotaco is sitting there being a wall of a man, and that is going to be a free Primal Fury for Paca Punch as they are going to look to siege up the left and clean up these towers.
Yeah, I'd like to see him just run it down left, take these 2 towers, take the T2 in mid, and you have that Phoenix on the right side, so you don't necessarily need Fire Giant for this push on the left Phoenix. I mean, they're gonna have it even if they take the T2 tower in mid before they try to siege this Phoenix. I'd like to see them just, hard commit to the Phoenix. You know, if it doesn't work out.
They're going right in. Brotaco looking for the blink pluck, unable to find it, but that is already
all.
Space is still being created. Bellona going to ult in the background. Tusky coming out, going to hit 2. The frontliners in shambles. Ramosite going to come out, half health the Artemis, but it does not matter. The deed has been done. The left Phoenix is going to fall. Low HP bars on the entire side of Feeding Frenzy. In the background, Zilla's actually looking to get aggressive on the Caribou, but Brotaco finding the kill onto the support. Now they're looking to collapse back on top of Ziilla for being there, but Ziilla actually able to find a really good Fearless, going to take out the Hunter. There goes the chance of ending the game, but it is alright. They are going to look to continue this fight for a little bit longer. Brotaco just getting in there, padding out his damage stats, because why not? And now they're going to wrap back, and with right and left Phoenix down, it should be pretty clinical here in terms of what's going to happen next. They're going to wait for this Artemis to get back. With all these fire waves pulling in, it's just going to be pretty easy for them to look towards this next fire. It's going to be very, very hard for Feeding Frenzy to react to 2 Phoenixes being down, especially one on the right, one on the left. The best Phoenix in the game taken down. Just
that right
Phoenix
is going to respawn right before fire, or right after fire, and I think if Paca Punch is smart here, they have the best Phoenix. Wait, and they wait for this to be the enhanced fire.
What they're doing. That once again, they haven't backed in a long time. They got the left T2. They got, I believe there's a T1 actually. They got left T1. They got left T2. They got left Phoenix. They got a lot of kills. Make sure that all the gold that you got in your pocket from the fight that you just took is now active. It's all in their inventory. They are good. They got their pots. They got their items. They are ready to go. Now they have to deal with these waves pushing into left. They don't have a lot of time before that fire waves start pushing in. And we are at 29:40, which means we're 20 seconds away from EFG, and we all know how effective EFG is if they're able to get that. That might just be game closed out with the left Phoenix. being down and the right Phoenix being as low as it is. They're actually not
It
even
looks
looking.
like they, yeah.
Yeah, they don't even care. They just looking to make sure to get
little
him. Still
ultimate
actually goes
play.
in. Rare Beam's going to be... Both Bubbles going to be forced out. Look at Bologna over there just swinging them autos down, and we see a blink in from the Hercules, and it looks like they're going to collapse on the SonicRefuGee here. He's unable to get out. Baba Yaga going to secure that kill. A big boulder coming in from the back. Ziilla is caught between 5, and there is not much he's going to be able to do here, and a great wall make sure that he's dead for sure. This is a 5v4 with normal FG. This may very well be the game unless they make a miracle play over on the side of Feeding Frenzy to stop this push. They go in, gets aggressive. Legion's looking to get on top of ggDsn, doing some poke damage, at least create zoning space for this Phoenix to go down. A good pluck to make sure that Beamster can't get into the backline, but it doesn't matter. We're sieging right towards the Titan. Two of them having to go back to base, making sure that they are ready to try to defend this, because it will not be easy. A great block! Double block and a double push, and that is going to be the game. That is GG's Brotaco ending it off in style as a 3-game banger of a set goes in the favor of Paca Punch.
He might have went 2-2-8, but that pluck just won them the game.
Man, what a set. All I gotta say, Baba Yaga diff. That's all.
Oops.
Baba Yaga diff. That's all I gotta say. That god was so impactful this set. I don't even have words for it. But the set was interesting. The first game, really back and forth. Paca Punch surging up in the beginning, faltering him out mid game, going back in the late game, feeling good, and then second game kind of just very clean by Feeding Frenzy, just getting a solid stomp, and then game 3 more so the opposite, where they just look really in control. I already gave them a little bit of shout out during the game, but I'm gonna give them another shout out because slash lines don't always tell the story. I thought Brotaco and Memester both played game 3 really, really good. Memester found a lot of impactful walls and a lot of impactful freezes. I think the same thing for Brotaco on that Hercules. He created a ton of space, did a lot to make sure that his team was able to operate with what they had. Hit some very important plucks throughout the game to force out relics. Legion's respected for W keying that entire game. I don't know. I think my man has to go buy a new one. I think it is broken. I don't think he ever let off the gas pedal all game, and I love that aggression. I love that mentality going in there. And Baba Yaga threw potions late game, and they did damage. And obviously Caribou for the lane swap as well, even though, you know, he wasn't warmed up on ADC, he had been playing solo for the past 2 sets, rotates over into ADC, does a really good job, finds some really impactful Tuskies throughout that game. I have more compliments I could give to the enemy team too, but I am talking so much, so I will just leave it off by saying GG's to everybody involved. It was a very fun set to watch and fun to cast. Do you have any closing statements to make?
That was probably one of the most entertaining sets I've been able to cast, and I agree. You know, Taco. It was an interesting switch last game, but Taco may not have shown it with his stats, but he just created so much space. GG's.
Absolutely. So that is, I believe, all from us here in Valhalla. We have one more set of games coming up later today, so if you are interested in that, catch on the other games. I'm Desto Great. My co-caster here, Scopy, has joined me, and we had a fantastic spectator of Jordan. From us here at Valhalla, thank you very much, and have a great day.